Hello, hello.
Welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Slash Cast. I'm saying it in the intro tonight, even though horror movie, pardon me. See, boy, woof. If I was moved, we'd have to do this over.
Wait, are we a horror movie slash cast or just a horror slash cast?
No, we're a horror movie slash cast. Does that sound right?
That's
tonight?
Fine.
I mean, we are this year. I never said it in the intro, but I'm feeling really slashery tonight because of what we're talking about, and I'm excited about it. So,
the first cut is Brandon.
A cut above the rest.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
I don't care. Christian, do you have a new name? I heard you have a new name. You've been given a new nickname because Christian Drome didn't work, so they gave you a new name. Is it true?
Is it a Cronin turd?
Oh!
David Cronin turd. Or are we calling you Cristiano Lucian Hello? How do you even say it? It's hard to say. Luciano Hello?
See?
I think that's it.
Luciano Hello?
You got it.
Yeah, you got it. You got it, all right. Brandon, what do I got for you? I'll tell you what I got. Brandon has a new theme song. Check it out. Yeah. Anyway, all that for a fucking breathe joke.
Breathe with me. I thought it was slap my bitch up.
No, it's breathe.
Yeah.
Inhale. You're the victim. Come play my game. Exhale.
I recommend that you listen to that at least 5 times before doing your next solo cast.
Just
I
like
prescribe
any
that
other
to
song, I don't. Any other song Christian recommends, I don't think Don would appreciate that.
It was the first one. He was a non-Pantera fan. I didn't realize it would make him so angry. But some people hate Pantera. And he, to be totally honest, Phil's a prick. I mean, he's a prick, but I separate it from the music.
He may be a prick, but he's a great vocalist, man. Everybody bit off him.
Yeah.
Like, he was the first guy that sounded that way. And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, I'm hearing all these new metal bands, and they all sounded like Phil. I was like, wow. But anyway.
Dr. Phil?
Yes, Dr. Phil.
He is a good lead vocalist.
Yeah. Dr. Phil or Phil Anselmo?
Dr. Phil. Phil Anselmo doesn't like Jews.
Oh, really? Is that what his problem is?
Oh, he had a white
Didn't he
power
make a
moment.
comment?
Yeah, he had a white power moment. But Jews are white.
Yeah, I'm a white Jew, at least.
Yeah, shit.
White Jew power, Phil.
Yeah, he's okay with you. He doesn't like Sammy Davis Jr.
Did you just say he's okay with Jew? He's okay with Jew.
Okay with Jew. He listens to this podcast actually for his enjoyment.
For his enjoyment.
I'm trying to cheer Brandon up. He's been very depressed lately. He told me about it, and I said, "Listen, you got to get over it. You have to fucking get over the fact that you didn't breathe on your show. It's okay. We're not gonna tease you about it anymore. It was a good show. Hidden gems and hidden breaths." Okay, listen. No shame in the game. Remember, it's Positive Dave. But I want to ask Christian. We've been talking a little bit, privately. I think you want to bring some shame to the game, or you have something to bitch about or something. Is this true or no?
No, I get my back up. I'm one of these people that will get really pissed off and then 2 minutes later go, what the fuck was I mad about? I'm one of those.
Good job.
But I don't think, Brandon, you haven't been depressed, have you? I thought you just said you just haven't been able to get into movies recently.
I've not been watching any movies. I've been in in a funk. I wouldn't say a depression, just in a funk. I thought I missed my medication for like a week. It turns out I missed it for like 4 months. So I'm kind of having trouble remembering the last 4 months.
What? Wait a minute. Wait, you've been great the last 4 months.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Stay off the meds.
Yeah, don't change a thing, right?
Who cares if you're growing tits?
You know what? I should have told everybody. Honestly, it's not that big a deal. People that listen to us on the regular don't care. They just accept the show for what it is. We roll in, we talk about what we want, you know. I should say it's a big show tonight, that we're excited, that we're talking about. This is the SAVINI Slasher Special, you know, the Triple S. And we're talking about Maniac. Everything's got to be an abbreviation.
A triple something or other.
Yeah, Triple R, Triple S's, right.
Brendan's got 3 balls across his face tonight.
I hope you're happy already, Brandon. I hope
I am.
You are. Good, see? He hasn't watched movies. When Brandon's not watching movies, I take that as depression. I'm like, well, something's got to be. Nobody watches more movies than, well, not nobody. Out of the 3 of us, he watches more movies than all of us. So when he is trailing, I'm like, well, something's wrong here. So I equate that with depression. So that's just my word. It doesn't. I'm not saying.
No, I'm snapping out of it. I'm starting to get going.
All you needed was a little time with us. Okay. Hey, you got a cliffhanger? Anybody? No. Okay.
I felt like I left it. I felt like I had a cliffhanger a show or 2 ago, and I can't remember what it was.
That's why I asked. I just have a note here that says cliffhanger. That's how professional, I am. I just have notes for every damn thing.
We definitely left a cliffhanger.
Yes.
But I can't remember what it was.
Well, we are going to revisit Devil's Candy at the very end of the episode. We're going to have a little recap because Brandon's realized some things and there's a little more conversation we're going to have. Just a bit at the end. That's why we're saving it to the end, because it's probably going to be a little spoiler.
Yeah,
so,
it's definitely going to be spoiler and a re-rating, perhaps.
What?
Oh, we got one early tonight.
Yeah, we do. We do. Okay, you know what? I got to tell you guys something. I was right once again, and I feel like bragging. Remember way back when somebody asked us a question about, maybe not even way back when, recently there was an email and they said something about what's a good horror television show that hasn't been made that you think, remember somebody asked us that? They said, what would be a good television show based on a horror movie or something?
Yes.
And one of my answers has come true. The Purge is going to be a television show.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
why?
Come on.
What do you mean, come on? Who knows? I'm not saying it's going to be good or bad. I'm just happy it's being done because
I have no desire to see it. No desire to see it. And I love the Purge films. It works as a film. I don't want to see them drag out a series for 5-6 years. Explain it in the 4th or 5th movie. Like, how it started and then get to, like, how they're going to end it. And that's it.
Yeah, but think of it as like that show 24. How one season took, like, 24 hours. And the Purge is 24 hours, so why not?
Ridiculous.
It's a great idea.
Hour 1 of the Purge?
They don't have to call it that. I'm just saying it can be stretched out, similar to that.
The Purge is only 12 hours, so they can do two Purges in one season.
Let's face it. Shows nowadays, it depends. It could be 6 shows. It could be 8. It could be 12. Who the fuck knows anymore?
Exactly.
I like the idea.
I'm not saying I do too. Well, especially since I had it. So of course I like the idea. I'm just saying, hey, Dave Z is right again. I'm on a roll. I was right about Friday the 13th. I was right about this. I was right about the Devil's Candy. Brandon's gonna say something later. Say, hey, Dave, you were right. So I'm happy.
You were right about one thing, but I still got a lot to pick with you.
Ooh.
Not bad stuff. Just we were having a good back and forth, and I still have a lot of questions. But we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
I'll have nap time during that point.
If the audience isn't already napping as it is. Check it out. I want to ask you guys a serious question. Well, I don't know how serious it is, but I've noticed a lot of people displaying stuff like on Facebook, like, people like collectors and such. And I've seen like 3 or 4 or 5 people put this up in random places, and they're all excited about this house box set. Now, am I missing something here? I've never heard anybody talk about these movies in a high regard before. And all of a sudden, just because somebody comes out with a box set, everybody's all loud and proud with these house movies.
I can't be 100% sure, but I believe on episode 1 when you were interviewing us and asking us about movies that got us into horror, I'm almost positive I mentioned House.
Oh, you
House
did.
And Fright,
You
House
did.
and Fright Night are the 2 films I credit. Same with Moods, which isn't really that weird because we're both the same age. So, we started watching horror movies, around the same time. So I love House. I actually grew up with House 2 as well. So I was excited to see that Arrow was putting out the two box edition, the 2 set edition. I'm not going to buy the 4 one. I never saw House 3 or 4. Eventually, I'm sure I'll check them out.
The horror show is part 3.
Yeah, the horror show. I actually never seen it.
Oh, really?
I actually don't need the 4 disc set. I'll go cheaper, half price, $35 or whatever, and get the 2 disc set. But they put together nice editions. They have, huge booklets, essays on it. Not that I ever read these things, but they're nice. Yeah, JP would love that. It's got JP. JP comes with it. It's like, I need an essay.
I want your disc.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but they put together nice stuff, Arrow. So anytime Arrow announces stuff, it's usually with positive reviews. Even if it's a shit movie, they generally put out good stuff.
I just find it a little humorous, that's all, that everybody's all about it. Like, I can't wait to get this. I just ordered this. And listen, hey, I'm not shitting on them. Good for them. I'm glad they're happy. I'm curious about it. I'm just like...
It did seem to come out of nowhere. And as somebody who's a House lover, I didn't even go that nuts over it. I have the House 1 and 2 on like double DVD or something. And I'm not in a rush to upgrade it. I will at some point, but I was like, oh, cool, nice. But then again, I'm not a huge poster.
I mean, people get excited when the Puppet Master is going to be all boxed up, or Witchcraft. I mean, come the fuck on.
Ugh.
My face.
Right?
Don't mind if I do.
Stop. So anyway, House. Everybody likes House. A lot of people like the first House.
Love the first.
Part 2, it's like a 60-40. I think some people like it, some people don't. The horror show, most people do not like it, and they insist on calling it House 3, and it's so fucking stupid.
Oh, I love the horror show. I really enjoy the horror show. It just shouldn't be called House 3.
No, it's ridiculous. It was called House 3 overseas. I understand that. But now in the States, it shouldn't be called House 3. But because they made a House 4, which I've never heard one good word about, by the way. Never. Everyone I've talked to that's seen it, the few people, I'll be honest, I never even knew it was made until like 2 years ago when I started listening to podcasts and I heard some people talking about it. But I've never heard a good word about it. So I'm like, well, so you got House 1, which is the best, obviously. 2, which is, half and half. The third one, which I don't hear a lot of good about, I saw it when it first came out as the horror show at the theater. I saw it. I know what it is. But it's not looked back fondly. And part 4, which is, for all intents and purposes, a piece of shit from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I just find it funny. It's just, I've been noticing it the last couple of days that everybody's pimping this House box set. I'm like, really? That's what you're going to spend your money on? Be all excited? I mean, by all means, I think collectors sometimes are just marks and they just want to buy something to say I have it and here you go, and then they don't even care what's inside the freaking movie. They just
it is as a collector, not as diehard as some of the people amongst our groups or some of the other people I know, but it is sometimes tempting to buy stuff, and I got to remind myself, hey, you like that movie. You don't love it. You don't need to spend $50 on an ultimate version of it. I did it with I really enjoy Creepshow 2, but I did it when they had that limited edition Creepshow 2 when it first came out. I was like, oh, I'm going to spend $40 and get it right away. Like, what are you doing? It's Creepshow 2. If it was Creepshow 1,
right,
jump on it. But I had to remind myself, that's Creepshow 2 in there.
Are these out loud conversations that you're having with yourself?
Probably.
Come on, man. That's Creepshow 2. It's not Creepshow 1. Sir, are you going to buy the movie or not? Hold on. I got to remind myself.
I
converse with myself because I'd like to keep a better class of company than you two.
He is Norman Bates. He's totally Norman Bates over there. I'm telling you.
What do you think I should do, mother?
I'll tell you what. As much of a joke as Christian's making, that's sometimes what it's like in my head when a movie comes out. How many times have I told you guys that? Oh, I just bought a bunch of movies and then I return them like the minute I get them. I do that a lot.
It's funny.
I'm a fucking nutcase.
Whatever. Hey, we all are.
A harmless, fun nutcase, though.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And for people that enjoy the house box set, by all means.
Not a Frank Zito nutcase.
Not quite yet, no. But,
SAVINI Slasher Special.
Yes, SAVINI Slasher Special. Let's get on with it. I just thought that house thing was funny, and I'm not insulting anybody by saying they're marks. I mean, I'm a mark too for certain things. I don't mean that in a very negative way, so don't jump on me and say, oh, he hates collectors. No, I'm a collector myself, not as hardcore. I don't want the money, but I mean, I just find it weird sometimes. Just like that movie. What do you call it? Microwave Massacre. I think people justify spending $40 saying it's a good movie.
We're supposed to just guess what movie you're talking about. It was just like that movie. And I was
Microwave Massacre.
Yeah,
he said it right after. It's not like he gave us a long pause like for us.
I was doing it I was doing what Brandon did. I was figuring it out in my head, but I couldn't say it yet.
Pontificating? That's fine.
Pontificating.
Yes, I was pontificating the Microwave Massacre. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Right. Forgive me, please.
But anyway, let's go. There's one thing I want to say before we get a break and go to our first movie. We had a vote, and it was overwhelming about the franchises. Did you guys see that? I put it out there. Did you like my idea about the...
Great idea.
Wow.
I just reminded you of it the other day because I was listening back to that show, and I'm like, that's a great idea. And then you put the poll up, and it's almost a shutout.
It was like over 100 to like single digits. It was not even close.
Yeah, and Moods was one of the single digits, and he was fucking around.
Well, I don't think he understood the question, honestly.
Oh, I think he did. I think he was just messing with us, saying cover the whole entire franchise.
Well, the reason we're not is because everyone does the whole entire franchise. We're doing it again, we're being innovative. That's what we do here at Exploding Heads. We're doing our thing. No one's done it that way before. So guess what?
I wonder if you're still going to be laughing when this episode, when we're not even going to talk about anything, still kicks episode 100 of 22 Shots Out of the Water. I'm kidding.
Of course. It better blow us out of the water. Based upon what we've done on this show so far, it better blow us out of the water. Let's get on with it. I'm going to do a 5-podcast shout-out again, because that's what I've been doing, because I love to do that for the community. Then we'll take
Christian, look, he's only blowing 5 podcasts tonight.
Yeah,
5 a week. And not every week.
It's all my throat can handle.
Hey.
What are you, blowing little boys? What the hell is that? Why is your mouth so closed?
I was trying to get that sound effect.
Sounds like a baby Clydesdale.
It sounds like he's blowing a baby Clydesdale. Yeah. So yeah, 5 podcasts. Check them out, and if you go and you never listened to them before and you like him, tell them that we sent you. So I'm going to name 5. Girls Will Be Ghouls, the podcast Under the Stairs, the Girls in the Back Row, the Hero Ghost Show, and the New Flesh. Boom. Check them out.
I'm almost positive he's shouted out 3 of these shows on 12 different shows before.
Hey, it's
that's not a bad thing, but I'm pretty sure some of those are repeats from last episode.
No, they're not from last episode. No. I have notes here to make sure I didn't repeat myself.
Check me out on the ABCs of Hidden Horror.
Oh, thanks. There you go. You did it for me.
3 years later, we're on letter L.
Hey, people are busy. What can I say?
Are they at Z yet? Yeah. Jesus.
I know, right? Eventually.
Oh, wait, Z for you guys.
Well, you can come on just because you're Canadian and we want to hear somebody say Z on the show.
They're going to be like, Zed, what the hell? What alphabet is he using?
Yeah, it's like one of those people that try to join the group page.
I'll tell you a quick story, very quick. We were doing so in the industry that I'm in, we were doing a big show thing up in Canada, and an American rep came up, and of course the actual line of product was called the Z series, but in the States it's called the Z series. So they came up and whatever, and we're conversing and whatnot. And we said, well, you just so you know, here try to. Everybody's is going to know what you're gonna say. If you say Z, you say Z, but really it's pronounced Z series, Z series, Z series. His face goes white. He looks and says, "Guys, what am I going to do with all these Z series brochures?" And we're like, "Oh my god!" And that sums up The
Americans.
relationship. Yeah, Americans.
That's funny shit. Well, I can't even criticize the whole Zed thing because of what you just said. I mean, it's crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Zed.
And he one ups it. Beautiful. Beautiful.
New nickname.
Dave Zed.
Cronin Turd, Don't Breathe, and Dave Zed.
It's a brand new show.
It is. Wow.
That was awesome. That's your best joke. You honestly should just turn off the mic.
Call it a night. Now. I'll see you guys after the show. Have a great show.
One more thing before break. We have 45 written reviews on iTunes. I asked for 5 more by showtime. I didn't get them. But everyone listening, 5 more will have a big giveaway. So just 5 more nationwide, or not even worldwide. Get them in there. That's it, iTunes. Do it, man. Do it. I got shit to give away, and it's just sitting here. So yeah, we're going to take our first break. We're going to come back with our first movie of 3. Big show tonight. We're doing it not alphabetically. We're doing it chronologically. No, we're not going from A to Z. Sorry. No.
Wait, is M before B or after B?
We're doing chronological. Maniac came out first, and that's going to be our first review. So.
All right, the first review of the night, Maniac, 1980, directed by William Lustig. A psychopath troubled by his childhood abuse, loose in New York City, kills young women and takes their scalps as his trophies. Will he find the perfect woman in a photographer and end his killing spree?
No.
Courtesy of the B. Yeah, no. Shit. A spoiler.
I thought you were asking me a question.
They're all spoilers tonight. Yeah, we should tell. I think
Yeah.
people that listen to us know that when we do
This
these
movie
episodes.
came out 37 years ago, and even Dave Z has seen it.
Damn straight, I've seen it. It's a classic. Of course, I've seen it.
It is a classic.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Is this a slasher movie? Because when I watch it this time, I always consider it a slasher movie. I'm watching it this time, I'm like, this isn't a slasher movie. I would put this like with Henry, the Portrait of a Serial Killer style. I think it's more like...
Exactly, but still a slasher.
Okay.
This is one of those rare ones that I still will count as a slasher, because I don't know where else to put it if it's not a slasher.
I was thinking Henry the whole time watching. I'm like, wow, this feels so much like Henry. Such a good character study.
In my breakdown on my digital library, I have like Mad Men and Serial Killer and Slasher. I've got them separated. I do have Maniac in Slasher. So obviously it's there for a reason, but I've separated like Henry the Portrait of a Serial Killer. I don't consider a slasher. I have that in Mad Men Serial Killer.
I agree. Mad Men I think is a slasher though, and I'll tell you why. This movie's basically like...
Sorry, I meant I call them not Mad Men the movie, Mad Men and Serial Killer is the title of is the folder title, and Slasher. Sorry.
No,
Mad
Men, that makes sense.
Yeah, you got it now?
Dude, I got it. Madman is basically like Jason Voorhees, except he's a little smarter and he's in the city.
Madman? No, he's in the woods too. Oh, you're talking Maniac.
Madman? I meant Maniac.
Now you're throwing me off. Yeah. Jesus.
Maniac. You talking about Maniac Mars?
Yeah. Maniac Cop. You said William Lustig, right?
Maniac Mars. Maniac Zito. No, basically, Maniac, he's got mommy issues. He's killing. It's a lot like Jason in a way. So he's picking off these women. He worships his dead mother, and that's what I'm saying. It's like a city boy. Jason.
What a great performance, though. Really, like it's not Joe Spinell playing a maniac. Like I believe, like watching it, like this guy's an actual maniac.
It's creepy.
I feel like I'm watching. Yeah, he's genuinely creepy. Does a great job.
The feeling of this movie is so unsettling. It's dirty. It's gritty. You feel like you're in New York right at that, I guess, the turn of the decade or whatever like that, like 79, 80. You just feel it. They really capture that. Audiences, I know I posted something to our group page maybe a month or two ago about reactions to seeing Maniac, and it was all negative because it was trying to push the agenda at the time, which was that it was just misogynist trash. And I think for the longest time it was just considered misogynist trash, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, because it's grounded in a much deeper issue, obviously, that Dave's mentioned. This childhood trauma with his mother. But it's a lot deeper because I remember I was watching it again and I'm thinking to myself, this isn't as trashy, as exploitative, as grindhouse as I remember it feeling years and years ago when I was watching it. It felt much more like a real character study. Like I genuinely felt bad for this character.
And to Dave's point as well, Mrs. Voorhees makes a cameo, so to speak.
Yes.
You're
yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that they did that?
Okay, we all did our research. I guess we're jumping the gun, but what a scene anyway.
It was great. We should wait till the end for that.
This is just a teaser. We're just tickling everybody's penis. Whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Ass with a feather.
Yes.
I'm not tickling
better.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Right.
I've been paying attention to music and scores lately because you guys always seem to bring them up a lot more. And I noticed in 2 of the movies tonight, and this one being one of them, that wow, the music was phenomenal.
I think all 3 of these movies have great scores, but this one is and they're all different, very different.
They're all different, but only 2 of them to me stood out. One of them I was like, and I don't know, it didn't really feel like it made a difference. But we'll get to that. Yeah, but this one, I thought it was awesome.
Do you guys know that this was supposed to be Goblin? Actually, not just that. Do you guys know that...
Argento.
Correct, because Daria Nicolodi was supposed to be the lead actress, the one that Carol Monroe ended up playing.
Yeah.
So, by having Daria come in there...
And Argento was supposed to co-produce it, I think.
Yeah. And Goblin was going to do the freaking score. And
really? That would have been cool.
Imagine that, yeah. And then, well, this is the next best thing because this is a great score. The lighting was sometimes similar to like Argento and Bava type stuff. But yeah, wouldn't it have been something? They didn't end up doing it because they were filming Inferno and they filmed it in Italy. There was some type of schedule conflict where
she was filming scenes for Inferno.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Well, I had...
Oh, you did say Inferno. Okay, I didn't know.
That's okay.
Sorry, my bad.
We've all been doing it. It's okay.
The Laserdisc of this, I remember watching a video, and the video, of course, it almost like feels like you need to see this on VHS or something like that, because it just feels like that's the time frame when the movie came out and it was great. But I remember getting the Laserdisc and being blown away by the transfer and, of course, the special features, because I had no clue. I don't remember ever reading about in Fangoria, and maybe I just missed it, that there was a sequel that was already being made and they've shot some footage and he died before it could ever be finalized or even totally made. I think it was more almost like a teaser to get people interested in doing a sequel. There was a special name for it. I can't remember the name for it now. Do you guys remember?
I know. It was called Maniac 2 the something. There was a title and I remember I think he was like in a circus or something. He was
Mr.
like
Roboto
I don't know.
or something?
Mr. Roboto.
It was something weird.
He washed the elephants like Christian?
Yeah. Better watch your step, boys.
Well, the videotape, strangely enough, at the end of the movie, you know, because this was before DVD, at the end of the videotape, they would have all these commercials. Maniac, banned in 46 countries. And they had them over and over. And I remember my friends and I watching it and laughing at it because they kept doing the same thing over and over again. And then at the end of all those little small trailers and radio spots and shit, they showed that scene. And he was like sitting in like a dressing room. And he was sitting there and someone was talking to him. And they said this was supposed to be Maniac 2. And then, but I remember seeing, I bet it must be the same thing you saw on the Laserdisc.
Mr. Robbie. So I wasn't actually too far off.
Wow. Mr. Robbie. Wow. Why Mr. Robbie?
I don't know, but it's been
to Robbie.
It's got to be on YouTube, and it's funny that out of all the research I did, I never actually watched or searched for that again. But I remember seeing it, and it was more like a promotional, almost like just to get people interested in trying to make the movie, and it never saw the light of day.
Well,
how long after this did he die? Shortly, right?
No, I think it was 86.
No.
So it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was later. Because he was in I want to say Rocky 1, 2, and 3. So he was still kicking it. He was still hanging around for these movies. I don't think a sequel would have made any sense, especially at the end of this movie. It would have cheapened this movie, I think.
It definitely would have,
Yeah.
because especially with the end scene, there's specific things going on that like you wouldn't have been able to justify a sequel with some of the things going on at the end.
No, not at all. Hey, what do you guys think about the Ultimate?
I think Brandon needs it. It might be a little higher price now.
Yeah, a little more than 100. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Is the Ultimate when you get to choke them to death? Isn't that what? I assume that's what it was, because he didn't really get in trouble for that. You know something? As much, you know what? This film is kind of misogynistic because it is very mean-spirited towards women. But Frank's character, Joe Spinell's character, Frank, shows remorse constantly throughout this film. He doesn't want to be. You could tell he is just sick.
That's his character. So it's. I mean, that's his character. So the misogyny comes from his character. I don't think from the way the movie's presented.
Exactly.
I mean,
His character is misogynistic because of his childhood abuses. So to say the film is misogynistic in a way, I guess it is. But I know the filmmaker's intention wasn't to be like mean-spirited towards women. We hate women. But the character is.
Well, there's arguments that they were trying to do that they're saying, hey, this is what sells. We just want to get these women naked and dead. They want to get dead.
They did use, some adult actresses for some of these women, for some of the smaller parts. And, whatever. It's fine. It's still a good movie, though.
I'll tell you, the women in this movie, and you wouldn't think so. You would think that The Burning or The Prowler, they're more typical type slashers. I think that the women in this movie are the best looking women across the board for all three movies. I think they're all very attractive, except maybe the one hooker in the beginning that was telling. The girl that he goes with, I think, is very pretty. Although I don't know why she's dressed like a gymnast, but whatever.
I'm a Burning fan myself, but I can see what you're saying about this movie.
There's not. Well. I'm telling you, there's not a bad one in the bunch. They're all very attractive women, except for, like I said, the one hooker. But I think all because Carol Monroe is beautiful, and the girl she's photographing later. There's like three of them. They're all really pretty. The girl in the beginning, like I said, the hooker. I think they're all very pretty in this movie. It is. I wouldn't have thought that. Granted, I've seen the movie enough times.
The guy on the beach at the beginning, he had a nice mouth.
Yeah. And guys got killed.
He was wearing. Well, he did, and he was wearing the Mrs. Voorhees sweater too. I think because that's where it comes from. Everybody's wearing the goddamn Mrs. Voorhees sweater. I do admit two things. First off, so people don't keep yelling at the podcast, he passed away. Joe Spinell passed away January 13th, 1989, at the age of 52. So it was 89.
89?
Yeah. I thought it was 86. I guess I'm just dyslexic and I got the 6 and 9 mixed up. On top of that, every time I watch this movie, still to this day, that opening slit neck, the girl getting her slit neck, has always bothered me. I thought it was really cheaply done. I think they just did it fast. It just looks like the blood's coming right from dripping off the knife. I mean, I know what it was, the tube on the knife. Like, we know how it's been done. But it just I just never thought it looked good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big issue is, that first kill is a little shoddy, but the setup is great.
She screams, though. It's right out of a Friday the 13th. Like, she screams like crazy, and then the guy's still walking back like, doo, 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 doo. Oh?
That's true. I never thought about that. That's true. And when the guy gets killed, it's cool. When he's pulling and holding him up. Actually, they're all good kills. And again, if you want to talk about misogyny, 2 guys get killed, and one guy, Tom Savini himself, the exploding head, is probably the best kill. Yeah. It's the best kill in the movie. I mean, so he kills men too, but I mean, come on. Serial killers usually have an MO and they usually target a certain, they have a type. So it happens all the time. How many times do you see serial killers that have killed 13 women? Or a bunch of prostitutes in a row? Or it happens all the time. So if anything, I think it's realistic. If a guy is a serial killer and he's sick, like he is in this movie, of course he's killing women.
Yeah, the most unrealistic thing is that he killed the 2 men, even though one of them is arguably one of the greatest kills in horror films, period.
Oh, the second best exploding head in my opinion, but beautiful
of all time.
It's so amazing
of all time. Yeah, I think the first one I still give the Scanners, and the second one I give the Maniac.
I was gonna say, can you imagine if they were able to show the scene when he shoots the woman after, like a double exploding head? They probably, I guess, I'm thinking they didn't have the budget to do that.
And there you go. You see the guy get it in full glory, and you just see the flash of the gun for the woman. Now, the problem at the time was they said that the guys get it quickly, and the women are made to suffer because she has to endure, oh my God, where is he? Oh my God, where is he? Oh my God, there he is. Oh my God, I'm going to get it. And she's screaming in dire straits for a while longer. But that's a horror film. And I mean, I don't...
And that's his motive, is to make women suffer. He's not really after men. He kills them almost to get to the women. That's why the first kill almost would have made more sense if he had killed the guy first. Yeah, based on what you learn about the character and everything.
Oh, right.
And it would have worked fine because he's out getting the wood or whatever, and he could easily get killed. And then,
he goes walking back with the wood, and then snuck up to the girl and did his business. Gave her the ultimate.
Gave her the ultimate. Oh man. Well, I really love this movie. This is the only one I don't have it on Blu-ray. I have the others on Blu-ray, and I had this on DVD, but my DVDs are in storage right now, so I had to watch it on YouTube, and it was the best thing. But I've seen it many times, but I just it is what it is. But I've always loved this movie. It's funny because I was looking up the Blu-ray. And actually, I'll say that for the end because I came across a 1-star review, and it got me on this little
1-star review of Maniac.
I got it. Well, listen, I was looking for the Blu-ray to see how much it was and if I can get it in time and everything else, and I saw a 1-star review because I was on Amazon. So then I kind of went down the rabbit hole and I started looking at 1-star reviews for all 3 of these movies. So I took one for each, and I'm going to read them.
Beautiful.
But not right now. I just. Yeah. I thought
you were 15 windows deep into the porn. We have to bring you back. It's like Insidious. Gotta guide you back.
Oh shit! Yeah, well, I really want to buy this Blu-ray, and
me too. The DVD, I mean, it looks fine. I wish it had subtitles. I was actually able to find a copy online that had subtitles, because, like I said, sometimes it's hard for me to hear, especially when Frank's having the dialogue with himself.
Oh, and that shit's brilliant.
It really is. It's some of the best scenes. I mean, to be honest, it's pretty much him throughout this whole film. I didn't even realize how long it is before Caroline Munro comes into it. It's almost like an hour into it, 45 minutes into it before she even appears. And then, it's not a long movie. So.
Oh no, not at all. You guys really think that he's an artist, or do you think he was bullshitting her?
I think he thought he was an artist. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, with the scalps and everything, the way.
Like he made art with the mannequins and how creepy is that? And just the scene where he's actually hammering the little thumbtack into it, putting the scalp on. It's just so creepily done. It's so unsettling. Like every time he's in this room with those things, and how nonchalant he is when he's coming back from with a body, and he passes that girl. And she's like, hey, how are you? He's like, hey, how are you? Out Christmas shopping? Yeah. And then he goes into his little hellhole, and you're just like, oh man, how creepy. That's what makes it so unsettling. It's just because you know that it can exist. This is why.
Yeah, wouldn't you question what that was? I would have been. I mean, even though it was just a mannequin, wouldn't you have been freaked out? Like, what's this guy doing with a mannequin body?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a Christmas tree, a plastic Christmas tree, because it's Christmas time and it's in a big bag. You never know.
I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish.
Okay, it's
That thought never crossed my mind, being Jewish.
Maybe it's what's that thing called?
A Hanukkah bush.
Too big.
A
Yeah,
menorah.
It's too big. A Hanukkah bush.
My Hanukkah bush is huge.
Now I'm going to nitpick on a few things. Before
I can nitpick a few things too.
You're gonna. There's only one thing I can nitpick on.
The scene of dialogue at the dinner scene for me, and or before it, it's really Bush League. I actually don't like the writing there at all. Yeah, I find it very weak.
I didn't think so at all.
Yeah,
it seemed normal to me.
It seemed very normal.
Yeah, no, I don't like, and I'm going to be in the minority here. I don't know. It just did not seem well thought out.
I thought it was kind of showing that he has this like genuine, can blend into society type of side to him. Like, he's really a sociopath. Like, he's really almost charming in a way.
Right.
And even when she's sort of kind of rejecting him, you know, I might not be able to do it tomorrow. He's like, that's too bad, you know, and, you know, oh, are you upset? Yeah, I'm disappointed, or whatever he says, you know, whatever the exact lines are. But
yeah, well, that's it. And I can't remember. I wish I wrote them down, but they're just some lines that I think it's just a handful of lines that I'm like, oh my God, this is Bush League writing. But other than that, I love the movie. It's just, it literally was a handful of lines before people were like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm not shitting on the movie. It was just watching it this time and for critique purposes of the film, I was just like, wow, this is really written poorly.
I would be a little nitpicky about the fact that Anna is kind of nonchalant about the fact that Frank found her simply by going up to her bag and looking at her name on her bag, because he contacts her. It's like, I saw you taking my picture in the park, and then they meet up and hit it off. You know, aren't you skeptical of something like that? Like, how'd this guy find out it was me? But I can even look past that. But the kill, when he kills one of the models, when he kills, I think her name's Rita, when he returns the necklace to her, I understand that she was trying to almost like play along and be calm, but it almost looked like she was drawing pleasure from like being tied up. Some of her facial mannerisms and stuff, it was almost looked like she was like into it. I was just like,
really?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I wish people could see this, because you almost did the face as what into it would be.
Yeah. And the face I'm making is nothing like the face she was making.
I should hope not. Maybe she was trying to fool him by making those faces.
It seemed that way. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I know they used adult actresses, which I don't know who the adult actresses were. I don't know if she was one of them.
I don't know. She's hot, though. I can tell you, I like her. I like her.
Yeah. I mean, the special effects are amazing in the film, though.
Oh, wow. Are they? Wow.
Some of the best acting, though, too, is the girls. Like, the one that gets chased.
The nurse?
Yeah.
She's hot, too.
Her fear is like, you're right there with her. You're right there with her in the stall. It was so well done, and it's just you want her to escape. You actually are hoping that she'll escape, but no, she's not going to escape. But you want her to.
I thought she was going to this time. I genuinely did. I was like, okay, just don't go wash your face. Just run.
Please,
nope,
Cameron, don't pan down with her. Stay with the mirror. Stay with the mirror.
Oh.
That's a great sequence. That's the best.
Yeah.
I love that part of the movie.
That's one of the strongest parts of the movie. A lot of tension.
For sure. Now, I said I had 2 complaints. These are real nitpicky. These are editing things. Did you guys notice that when...
Oh, the train.
Yes, the people on the other side are there.
Tons of people.
Train back to the platform, there's like a million people.
Yeah, there's like
I thought,
there were like 15 people. That's a big nitpick.
Yeah. It is. It's that and the very end, which somebody might say this is nothing to nitpick on, but these guys walk in and they see him on the bed and they see blood. They don't check his pulse. Yes! They just assume he's dead.
And then they go in and shut the door. Like,
yes.
Oh, well.
That was the other thing. That's what I was going to say. A sequel would have been unjustified, because you're assuming that these police didn't leave, even though it looks like they're just leaving. Like they're never coming back.
I mean, it's all in his head. We get that amazing thing at the end. You're either going to believe that he got ripped apart, or you're going to believe that he didn't and his eye opens at the end. So I guess it's open to interpretation because of that. But I like to believe that he's dead. It's just better that way.
Well, the ripping apart was all in his mind. But it looks like he physically stabbed himself, but then didn't succumb to his wound and was alive at the end.
Yeah, he's not walking out of there with a sword in his belly and going to be Mr. Robbie in part 2.
No.
That's why part 2 wouldn't have worked unless I don't know what they would have done, but...
No. Mr. Roboto. That's why it shouldn't have been Mr. Roboto. A robot version of it.
Yeah. Mr. Robbie. That's freaking great.
Robbie.
I'll tell you, there's some real good shots in here. There's that one POV when the girl's in the bathtub. And did you guys think that she was going to play with herself? Don't make me feel like I'm a pervert. Did you when Rita gets in that tub, she keeps putting up her one leg and like putting her hand down a little, and the way she's moving and wiggling around. Didn't you guys think she was gonna start flicking her bean?
Pervert.
Dave, to be 100% honest, that thought absolutely never crossed my mind watching it.
Okay.
It really didn't. It really
Listeners,
didn't.
back me up.
Me neither.
It really didn't. I would tell you if it did.
Yeah.
I promise I'm not the only one. The way she's moving around, you expect it to happen.
BC's gonna side with you. That's it.
Yeah, and the rest of the Z Nation or the Z Nation.
World War Z.
The exploding Zeds.
Oh, another little nitpick: the cemetery scene.
What about it?
A little too heavy with the smoke machines.
Oh.
Like you literally, like you can almost practically see them. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I like it. It looks awesome, but she like hits him with a shovel, and half his arm gets like severed.
It looks.
But I do love when Mom pops out of the grave. Still makes me jump. Oh God, yeah.
It's great, and you can tell it's Savini. It looks like the Thing does in Deranged, and it looks like the Nubbins does in Texas Chainsaw 2. That's what it reminds me when I see it. Yeah, totally. It's straight up Savini, which I mean. Fuck.
So the effects are almost flawless, with the exception of, I said, that clumsy first slit neck. That's the one that I just can't get over. But other than that, everything else is flawless and just beautifully done. And
it is. Some
of the goriest kills you'll see that still hold up to today standards. Because today now it just goes overboard. Like the saws just have you bleeding, like blood that you'd be out. You'd be out of blood.
It's either overkill or it's just bad CGI or there's no blood at all. This triple feature is the template for how all gore should be in horror films.
Wow.
As far as I'm concerned, at least in slasher films, anyway.
Right, yeah, slashers, sure.
This was the perfect amount of blood, of showing it. Not overkill, not underkill.
Oh, at the time, I think it was considered overkill. I think it was just ahead of its time. Like people were like, "Whoa!" I think I even remember reading Gene Siskel walked out. I know they hated it.
I read that too.
Guess when he walked out after Savini's head explosion?
Yeah,
that's when he walked out. That early in the film and talked all kinds of shit. You barely see anything up to that point.
Yeah,
you don't even know the character yet.
He said that level of violence couldn't be redeemed with any type of story after that.
What a critic.
The Maniac song? Did you guys know? Okay, listen to this shit. You know that Maniac song from Flashdance?
Oh,
He's a maniac. Do you know the story about that? That it was written because of this? It had different lyrics and everything.
What? Really?
Is this a joke?
Oh no! This is no.
Oh
no! No! Oh, the guy that wrote the song.
How dare you?
Yeah.
No, listen to this.
Dare you?
Dare you?
The guy that wrote the song. What's his name? Santabella. Give me a second. Sambello.
Well, that's Maneater. Nothing.
Maneater. Yeah, Hollow Notes.
Maneater. No, stop talking about yourself, Christian.
There are two versions. There are two versions of the story of how Maniac was heard by this guy by the name of Phil Ramone. He's the music supervisor for the then upcoming dance film Flashdance. And he asked Sambello and his writing partner Mikowski to send in some demos for possible inclusion of the film. So now, what happened was, these guys, Sambello and his buddy, saw the movie together, Maniac, and after seeing it, he wrote a song for it. And the original lyrics were, "He's a maniac, that's for sure. He will kill your cat and nail him to the door." I shit you not. He wrote the song for this movie after seeing it. And because he's a songwriter, he made a demo for it. And this appeared along with some other songs on a cassette. And this guy's wife sent it to this guy, Ramon, to listen for Flashdance, and heard this song with those lyrics in it and said, "That's the song. Of course, you have to change the lyrics for this movie." And Maniac was born, the song.
Wow. Interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
Considering
interesting.
there were
That's
no
crazy.
cats killed in the film whatsoever.
I know.
or nailed to a door.
Right.
Or nailed.
No, but
That would have been a
Apparently-
good scene if you just nailed a bunch of cats.
Okay, listen. Let me read that 1 star.
We got
Let me read the 1-star review.
Give it to us
because
straight, Charlie.
they're all funny. Yeah, I'll give it to. Let's see. Hold on.
This 1 star, I believe, is from Terror Threads.
Speaking of which, is that the shirt you're wearing there? Where'd you get that shirt? Your shirt, Dave. Where'd you buy that from?
Me? No, this is not. This is the, what do you call it? This is a fright rag. I'm representing. Come on.
Yeah.
It's a fright rag.
You got the rag part right.
It's a graveyard Texas chainsaw. You can't even get it.
That's a rag, all right.
All right, so here we go. Verified purchase from Delta One. 1 star. Maybe this movie was scary in the 80s. All right. I love horror movies, and the title of this film kept coming up as something that should not be missed, or something that brings out primal terror in most people. After watching some of today's horror films, this movie just lacks in comparison. I'm sorry, but this DVD just could not hold my attention. I really wanted to send it back after the first few minutes. I have seen worse, so I can't say it's one of the worst movies ever made, and I'm reading it as he wrote, one of the worst movies ever made, but it just reeks of 80s cult classics.
What?
Now, why is that an insult? I don't know, but that's what it says.
I don't like
And
it because it's a cult classic.
It's an 80s cult classic. The best decade of cult classics. One of the best decades of cult classics.
Well, in his defense, in parentheses after that, he says, now don't get me wrong, there are lots of cult classics that I like and own. So, whatever. Maniac just isn't one of them. This film has enough cheese to make anyone lactose intolerant. Not to mention, all the blood shots look like bright red Halloween paint. Fucking wrong. It reminds me of the kind of movies they used to show at all-night horror features where you could pay $1 to get in. In all fairness, I can see this being a nostalgic hit with some people, but if you're seeing it for the first time through fresh eyes, it just comes off as boring. Now, a movie that really did bring out primal fear in me was a movie called Chained by Jennifer Lynch. This is the movie that I think Maniac wanted to be. I don't even know what that is. Chained. Anybody?
What's it called?
Chained by Jennifer Lynch.
I've heard of it, but I've not seen it.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I've seen it.
I don't know.
Cheddar, cheesy. Just that's.
Well, that there is dialogue, but it sounds like he didn't even get through to that part. That dialogue is a little cheesy in the part I'm talking about, but only certain lines.
But there's no way he's talking about that.
Yeah.
He's just.
And the movie's not scary in the sense of like pop out scares, boo hoo. It's sheer terror that this guy can exist in society, and you could be living right next door to him, and that's where the fear comes from and stems from, in my opinion. I mean, that's real. You know, it's not Jason in the woods. This is a guy in the city, and that's what is real.
Yeah, this is a real human being. This isn't a boogeyman.
So the guy's wrong, and the blood does not look like. He must have been watching Martin for the blood. that orangey blood.
Not that Martin. Wrong Martin.
Because this did not look like paint, in my opinion, but.
No, it looked damn good, actually. All the effects, for the most part...
It was real. They actually killed all these women.
That's what they thought about the Prowler, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
You saw that, too? That guy said that to him?
Yeah,
that's funny shit. So, yeah, I guess we should rate it, huh? Because we could just keep talking about these movies if we don't cut them off.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. It's one of the best shot slashers, period. I think it's, no one talks about that, but it's very well shot with some real good scenes. The score is great. The mannequins at the end actually scare me with the way they show them, and I not many things scare me. So when I do see it, I have to, bring it to the attention of whoever's listening, because it doesn't happen much. But I think it's a great movie. I love this movie. It's one of my straight-out favorite slashers. Savini is fantastic. Spinell is freaking awesome. I love the movie, and I'm going to give it 9 out of 10.
Nice.
I don't know why. I guess, if anything, I've always really enjoyed this. I always thought the gore was phenomenal. So as like a younger kid, I was just blown away by the gore, no pun intended. And and it almost overshadowed everything else. And then I became to appreciate what else was happening in the story. I've always loved it. Cheesy dialogue aside, in the certain sequences, I don't know why I can't give it a perfect score. Maybe because of that and certain things, but I'm right there with you. 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. The gore's phenomenal. I definitely appreciate the story of Frank, the psychological side of the story more now. That's really my favorite subgenre of horror, is the psychological horror, and this was much more a psychological horror to me this time than a slasher, because I'd seen it so many times as a slasher. And I'm right there with you. I was hovering at 8.5, but I was having a lot of fun talking about it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Nice. All right.
Not quite
Maniac.
Hall of Fame, but right there.
No.
Almost there.
Yep.
It's still a full head explosion. A full head
absolutely.
Savini
Absolutely.
head explosion.
Boom. Now back to the head explosion. I think this looks great because they give you a chance to look at the aftermath of it, and they put it in slow-mo.
Oh, God. Yeah.
When you're comparing it to the blow-up in the Prowler, I think the blow-up itself in the Prowler looks better, but I think the way this is shot and the aftermath of seeing a head in half going over the neck is so grotesque and so badass.
Absolutely.
It takes it because of that.
He was the killer in that scene, too, right? So Savini blew his own head off.
He blew his own head off because he was the only one that was comfortable enough, because it's a one-time trick. So if it fucks up, it fucks up. Well,
and there was stuff in the I don't know if that was in the commentary, but I remember watching. I had the book Ground Illusions, and it went through he had 2 books, Ground Illusions 1 and 2, Savini, and it went through all of his makeup effects and whatnot. And so this one was in that one, and I loved it. I always loved reading about that. And then there was also that Scream Greats Volume 1.
Oh, okay.
There's Fangoria, or someone put them out. I think I've talked about this on the show before. One of them was Witchcraft, and one of them was Tom Savini. And those were the only 2 they released. And it was just like I think you can see it on YouTube now. It's like the first documentary on Savini, I believe. And
I should have watched it.
There's a lot of like Maniac stuff sprinkled in there.
Man, I remember when it came out.
Cool.
I remember, but I didn't know it was on YouTube.
Well, I assume it's on YouTube. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I always assume the stuff's there.
If it's not on YouTube, we're gonna be pissed at you.
Definitely.
Well, go find it, fuckfaces.
Yeah, look for it. Before we wrap it up about this movie, I want to say that our friends over at BB and BC Podcast all month long are doing Joe Spinell films, and they are also having a show, an hour-long interview with his best friend. And it's dropping. By the time you hear this, it's going to be out. So check that out if you're a fan of Spinell and you want to hear about his other movies. So, boom, there you go.
And it is on YouTube. Yes.
It is?
Yeah. You could just search Scream Greats Volume 1, and I think there's a couple of the full-length versions on there.
Yeah, I think everyone knows how to use YouTube. Yeah, thanks.
www.
YouTube.
YouTube.
Dot C-A.
Dot C-U-M. Dot C-A.
Remember Canadian YouTube? Remember?
Yeah.
We had that issue before with it. Yeah.
It was funny. It was brought up just recently. What do we make fun of the most? And a lot of people said it's Canada. It was at my solo cast, Brandon solo cast, Jews. I actually do still think we make fun of 22 Shots the most. I actually chose the 22 Shots. I think we actually do make fun of them the most on the show, but I don't know.
Does Mexicans?
Mexicans was there too.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah,
so
it counts
Mexicans
towards
is
22 shots. Yeah.
Well,
so
today we've done everything. Because from the beginning, we've made fun of Americans, we've made fun of Mexicans, we've made fun of Jews, like
Canadians.
It's like a stew.
Say something bad about women. Say something bad about women.
The chicks were hot in this movie.
That's bad? Yeah.
Well, no, but some people make it easily offended by saying something like that. This day and age, you can't say nothing.
Don't hold the door open anymore.
Good start to the reviews.
Good start to the reviews. Let's get into the emails and the V-mails quickly. We have 2 emails and 1 voicemail and 1 message that was sent on Facebook. So, gentlemen, I did not prepare you at all for these emails.
Uh-oh.
Well, no. It's nothing crazy. that, but I would have.
Christian looks genuinely annoyed.
No. I wouldn't do that, but it's still going to be a little bit fun because of that. So, let's go back to this. Okay, Anthony Crisani, our buddy.
Hey, Tony C.
Yeah, Tony C. All right. He has a question. Hey, guys, I just saw the new trailer for the Stephen King's It remake, and I was wondering what your thoughts on them remaking it are. I personally am tired of seeing remakes of all these classic movies. However, I am not totally opposed to remakes because there have been, of course, some great ones. I just think certain movies shouldn't be touched, and I would rather see all of that money go to a new and original film. By the way, I just wanted to add I've been re-listening to the Sleepaway Camp Retro and the Popcorn episode all the time at work. As usual, keep up the amazing work. Clickety-clackety. Anthony C.
I'll give you my pick. I'm not a big fan of the original It movie. I'm not. It was okay. I like Tim Curry, but it's just okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. And you know what? I'm actually really looking forward to this. I actually thought the preview looked great. Some people are like, "Oh my god, it looks so cliched." I thought it looked great. If they had to leave one thing out, Dave, I know you didn't see the trailer, it would just be the very last shot of the up to the screen. And the Pennywise up to the screen. That's the only thing I would have left out of the trailer. I think they're trying to get that one extra scare, and it was already good enough. But I like the trailer. I can't wait to see the movie. It shot up very high on my 2C list. And I'm not. I have no problem with remakes. I've always said this.
What's 2C stand for?
It's a battery.
Tupac.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
It's a Canadian battery.
My 2C. My 2-watch. My high on my list 2-watch.
Oh, I agree with you. Look, I like the original It. I'm not as high on it as other people are, but I really enjoyed it. I think this one looks like it's going to be a terrific updated version. I'm excited. I like the actor who's playing the new Pennywise. So, and you know, when showing the trailer side by side, they actually posted this on Facebook and other places, showing the two It trailers side by side. And I think it's being very true to the original, just in an updated, modern way, and in a not made for TV way. And speaking about remakes, I know we've talked about how much we hate remakes, and generally I do too, but we just covered a movie that to me has my favorite remake of all time.
I hear you.
So,
no, I don't know if it's my favorite.
It's weird. Sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it's not. I'm psyched for the Suspiria remake, but generally I feel the same way. I'd rather see the money put towards original content, but hell, if it's going to be good, it's good.
It's a business, so the money's going to be spent the way they want to spend the money. And I always say I don't care if a remake gets made. That was where I was going with it, because you always have the original. The remake does not kill the original. I hate when people go, "Oh, you're destroying the original." No, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
right. You're destroying my childhood. That's
true, because actually sometimes I think a remake would be better than another sequel. In the case of Hellraiser, stop putting out these shitty sequels and do this reboot, reimagining, whatever, this sequel to the original, or whatever they're planning on doing. I know we talked about it when we covered Hellraiser, that Kirsty was supposed to be back in it, and whatever, Kirsty, whoever the fuck, Kirstie Alley playing Kirsty.
Fat actress, really, that piece of shit.
But so put that
they
out.
They call me Pincushion. I agree, Brandon. I agree.
I have some sights to show you. The Washington Monument.
I don't know. Sometimes I'd rather see sequels than remakes. Like, I don't know. Like when they're making the Halloween, why not just stick with the sequels? And why not? And like what they did with Chucky, they didn't remake it. They make sequels. I like old school sequels.
The sequels are still working.
Yes, if they're still working.
At this point, it's like.
Well, come on, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, that last one could have just as easily have been a sequel. It could have been part 12. Or whatever you want to call it. That's what I
mean when I kind of say remake. It doesn't have to be like a direct remake. It could be sort of like a sequel, but it's original.
Right. Or Evil Dead. That could have been a sequel, too. That could have been Evil Dead 4. Who's to say?
Even though I told you guys I haven't seen that yet, but I understand what you're saying.
And I haven't seen the It trailer, which is what this whole thing started with. But I am going to go by everybody else Everyone's saying that they're really excited about it, that this looks good, and I'm going to trust everybody enough to say I'm looking forward to this. And I don't care about remakes. Now, for years, I have said, when the remake thing took off, I was like, why can't we get original movies? So I do know what Anthony's saying. But right now, we're seeing a plethora of everything. The last, I don't know how many times are we going to say it? The last couple years have been so good that we're seeing so much original content, and we're seeing remakes. And I'm happy with all of it right now.
Especially this year so far, when we were highlighting what was coming this year at the 2016 year-end show, we were talking about this is going to be the year of the sequel. And meanwhile, here we are mid-April, and it's, we've seen a lot of original content, a lot of great stuff so far.
Agreed.
Yeah, it was just the two sequels. And they both bombed.
Yeah.
Oh, Rings.
Yeah. No, 3 sequels. Sorry, Rings, Underworld, and Resident Evil. So what did that tell you? Those were 3 big budgeted sequels that have bombed.
Yeah.
So, well,
there's always going to be original content.
Yep, but I do not have a problem with remakes. I used to. The way I look at remakes, I look at TV shows now. I'll give anything a chance. Like a horror TV show, same thing. I've been skeptical before, and I've been proven wrong. Sometimes I've been right and it sucked. But I'm game for everything. As long as we keep getting original content that's good, kick ass like we have been, I can't complain about anything that's going on in the genre. So I'll leave it at that. Okay. Next one. E.T. Hicks. Okay. I'm listening to episode 33. And hear you discussing both your hopes to get more activity on the group page, as well as the idea that JP had for a Pick Your Poison segment for the show. That gave me an idea for a way to combine the two to get some regular activity on the group page. And if you want, it's something I'd be willing to get started. Oh, well, say no more. I don't even have to read the rest of this. Yeah, do it.
Wait, who is this? Is this still Anthony?
No, this is Evil Taylor Hicks, I think.
Thank you. Yes, it is.
Oh, you said it?
Yeah.
You said. I think he said his real name. I like
E.T. Hicks.
This guy always wants to help us out. I love this.
He's great. Yeah.
I love it.
The listeners are great. So it'd be called Pass the Poison. It would be a way for group members to lay down a single movie challenge to someone else in the group. Someone would start with a 1 to 3 paragraph quick review of a 2017 movie. Then they challenge another group member to watch another 2017 movie and post their own 1 to 3 paragraph review. They could keep that going down the line and get a steady flow of posts to the page. We'd probably need to work out a way to identify people who want to participate so that we wouldn't have people getting challenged who just ignore it. What do you think? I'm open to suggestion if you have tweaks you'd like to make. I also won't be crushed if you're not feeling the idea. Just something that popped into my head while listening to the show. As always, keep up the top-notch work. Brian.
I'm making some tweaks right now.
You're tweaking, aren't you?
Those are
I'm
torts.
tweaking my nipples. I actually like that idea. I like the idea of getting, the group members involved in, more hands-on stuff.
Something besides
doing reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah. See, I don't want to do the reviews because we do them here for Triple R's. I mean, so I don't say shit. You know how many times I want to say something or I want to use our Twitter feed to put something out there, but I'm like, no. I want the listeners to listen to the show and then not. You know what I mean?
And then we could do a segment called Rate Members Reviews, the RMRs. Yeah. So we read SC's review today and mild rumble. 6 out of 10. His review was sophomoric.
Poor SC.
I don't know why.
Right?
He stopped listening.
Know why I picked it. He's not caught up because he's playing all these video games.
Oh yeah. Well, let's incorporate a video game segment into the show. How's that?
Write a review of the video game.
There you go. SC. You can do a video game review on the group page. There you go. Along with a movie review. Because, this is a good idea. I like that idea.
Thank you, Evil.
Yeah, Evil. Yeah, do it. Start it. I'll remind you online, or maybe when you hear the show, you can start doing it. And I hope the people listening will be into it. But, yeah, we'll find out who wants to do that. But that is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, now I'll save the voicemail for last. I have a message here. See, this is our homie Jim K, who always just sends me messages online. Doesn't like to use the email. So this is how we do it. Why am I singing that song? Because I'm flipping through this thing trying to find something. Okay, Jim K, check it out. This is something maybe I should have presented, but I think it's easy. I think it's better to be put on the spot. So I don't even have my answers. Whatever. Okay, I just finished watching the Across the Eyes. Huh? Oh, sorry. Let me say that again. I just finished watching 5 Across the Eyes. And man, oh man, that's got to be one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. The script and dialogue were terrible. The cinematography was brutal. With a silly guerrilla style, which is okay in some movies. And there wasn't even a story. The acting was just amateur night. The worst thing about it was that it made me angry and not in a good way. As opposed to, well, whatever. In horror movies, you have to suspend belief a lot. But in this movie, the decision-making was just over the edge. The ending in particular won't spoil, where the 5 could have done what they ended up doing probably halfway through the film. All in all, I loved it. 10 out of 10. Just kidding. This led me to what I think would be a cool topic to discuss on the show. Have you experienced an anger for a film? And maybe give some examples. Another one I thought of was Killer at 10 Killer. Terrible, terrible. Killer at 10 Killer? That's the name of a movie?
Yeah, it's an 86.
Terror at 10 Killer. I talked about it on
Killer?
Terror at 10 Killer. It's Terror.
Oh, okay.
Terror at 10 Killer. Yeah.
Okay. If it was called Killer at 10 Killer, I just wouldn't watch it. I would refuse to. Okay.
Oh, but Terror you'll watch.
That makes a little sense. Killer at 10 Killer sounds.
Everybody says don't watch it. I own it, and I still haven't watched it because everyone says don't watch it.
He said it sucked too, so we won't watch it. If this movie was $1.15 or $20, then at least you could say terrible, but flew by. This one was 95 or so minutes, which added to the torture. At least I stick with them no matter how bad they are. So there you go. What movie angered you?
I think everyone knows what movie angered me, so I'm just not even going to talk.
What movie angered you?
I think it's the only film besides Sleepaway Camp Survivor that I gave a 0 out of 10.
That scored. That's right.
I just, look, I don't like those kinds of movies. I've seen some of these, like, any Beelzebub film. Fucking terrible. Have you ever watched a Beelzebub film?
No. Have you ever listened to Beelzebub?
Buzabubba?
No. It's an album by the Dead Milkmen. But anyway, continue.
Bubba Smith?
Yeah, Bubba Smith, yeah.
Hightower?
Hightower, yeah, no shit. The old football player, right.
No,
how about
but
you, Hightower?
Beelzebub films, like, not only are they just not my thing, but some of them are long. Like, he did one last year called Nightmare on Elmo Street.
I think Moon's talked about that.
And it was like 2.5 hours long.
What?
Ugh.
Yeah, just.
Is it puppets? Are there puppets in this movie?
I don't know. I didn't even bother to watch it, but
just puppets. I'll watch it.
And also films like the Slaughter Vomit films. I tried watching the first one back in the day. I actually watched like half of the first one. I'm just like, I can't do this. I don't care that this guy has a fetish for people really throwing up, but it's just making me nauseous, and there's no story here whatsoever.
Gross.
And like I've said and Christian said before, I'm not a big fan of like the August Underground films. I'm not a big fan of these violently gory snuff films without really a story.
So they anger you.
Well, they anger me in the sense that
there's no art involved.
Some of like this, like Fred Vogel. Like I saw Cella Turcica. I actually like Cella Turcica. I haven't seen Red Sin Tower, which I heard is a lot of people's favorite. But when I saw August Underground, I'm like, this guy does amazing effects. Like, I know he can, and I saw it to Cella Turcica. It's a decent story, not the best. Camille Keaton's in it. It's good. It's got some good gore towards the end. It's a decent story, but he has the talent. Cella Turcica.
Oh, they said Skeletor's Return. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. But
He-Man
when I watch stuff like August Underground, I'm thinking it's a waste of talent. The same thing with the Death Escort Service film is that the gore and the kills are like overly mean-spirited and gory, which is fine. Just don't give us 3 minutes of story at the end. Give us a full story. Even if it's only a 60-minute movie, give us a 60-minute story. I don't care if the acting's terrible. I can live with bad acting as long as your heart's in and you're giving me some story.
And I think
That's just how I feel.
I think I get mad at those movies too because I get a bit jealous. I'm like, fuck, they made a movie. But I'm like, I wouldn't want my name associated with that. And I think that's what it's like a clash internally where I'm like, fuck, why don't I just go and make something? Because, I could just, like, some of these are just like a guy grabs a hammer and decides to walk house to house to house to kill people. But I wouldn't want to do that because it just doesn't interest me. I want to try something a little bit more, but then you don't make anything. And so I think I get frustrated in that regard from a filmmaking standpoint of actually wanting to create something and then not actually doing it. So what's better, actually putting something out there or not doing it?
That approach.
And then
that take on it.
The other thing would be a film like a Serbian film. It's not a bad movie, but that movie angered me. I went through so many different emotional states during that movie. I think I told you I turned it off, and I was pissed off at the movie. I was pissed off that I was watching it, but I'm like, I can't let the movie win. I got to finish this movie. And then I got sucker punched yet again, and then again. And that movie angered me, but it was a well-made movie. I can't take away from it.
And that's the thing with that film, is it's such a well-made film that it can never be taken to be as disturbing as it was meant to be. Like, it tries to be like the most disturbing film of all time, but it's such a well-produced, well-made film that I look past it. Like, the subject matter is so taboo, obviously, but it's still I actually like the film.
I do too, and I've only seen it once. But see, you and I are cool with it. But Christian said it still made him angry, so it does. It was repulsive to him.
It's not a zero.
It is repulsive.
It's not a zero. God, I don't even know where I can rate it because it's like almost like I've never seen anything like it, and it's horrific, and everything about it's horrific, which is a horror movie. And so is it a 10? Is it a 0? I can't tell you because I never want to watch it again, and I was so angry while watching it.
I do wish they had left two things out of the film. 2 specific things out of the film, maybe even 3 specific things out of the film, and it still would have been an equally horrific and awesome film. But I understand, and it's probably the same thing that Christians that most people find, horrifying about the film, and that's the use of children in sexual acts.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to see that.
No, but I feel like they could have made an equally disturbing, effective film had they kept that out. And everybody always commented on that film specifically about, the baby scene. That scene, they didn't even need that scene in the movie.
That scene was nothing. I remember seeing that movie.
Yeah, it's nothing, but it's not even needed. And, I know that crazy director in the film is talking about, baby porn as like his new. They could have edited it around that and done. He was a nutcase to begin with. He would have been equally a nutcase had he not said that line. So I understand that. I feel dirty when I watch it because of those things. I've only seen it twice, and I own that nice 3-disc edition because the soundtrack was pretty cool for that and stuff like that. But I'll probably watch it once every 5-10 years from now on.
That stuff doesn't make me mad so much. What Christian was saying, well, actually, what both you guys were saying earlier about seeing these movies where you get great gory kills and there's nothing else going. I could see that because all you got to do is stick him in a summer camp and film some kids and then have him get whacked off. Have him get whacked.
What kind of movie are you making?
I meant to say bumped off, and then I said I was thinking of whacked, so I said whacked off. Now I should be doing a Serbian film. Good God!
And the problem is most people can't even do that right. That's the problem. Like, holy shit, the formula's not that crazy. You do, and you said it, Dave. Most people don't think of dialogue when they think of a slasher, but if you don't have colorful dialogue, you're going to be sunk because you could have a setting, you can have good kills, but if it's boring in between, we're going to have some problems. And hey, we're going to be talking about a summer camp movie that
right next.
So I don't know if that's a segue, if there's something else we need to talk about, if there's other emails or whatever first.
I have to give my answer, and then we have a voicemail. And then
let's get to the movie.
I'll say that.
Skip your answer, Dave. We don't want to hear it.
My answer will be quick, and it's been heard before. See, I took this question a whole different. Actually, I just read it like an hour before I went on. I said, okay, that's nothing. I know what my answers are. So here's what pissed me off: Halloween Resurrection, Halloween Resurrectum. That piece of shit that never should have been made. Of course, that pissed me off I didn't even know what I was thinking going to the theater that day, knowing how great H2O ended, and saying a perfect end to a villain and a franchise. Why did I go opening day to see freaking Resurrect Them? I don't know. But I was in there 10 minutes and I was immediately pissed off, and I said I'd never watch it again. I've only watched it for podcasts since. So that pissed me off. Jason Goes to Hell as a Friday the 13th fan. That's like I think that they were trying to troll us. I really think that they were trying to piss people off because it was ridiculous. So those two movies angered me.
Christian, he's genuinely angry. Like we were talking about like being angry, even though we kind of weren't. He's like fuming over. He's in a plum rage right now.
He was okay with newborn porn, but Jason Goes to Hell. No.
Dave, we just had a joke that Christian doesn't even know about.
Nope, but he'll know it soon. It'll be making the rounds.
What joke? What joke?
Plum rage. You'll see. Eventually, it's gonna come out. You'll see.
Yeah, you'll know it.
But those two movies, and I'll say one more, The Sacrament, or as I call it, The Excrement, because it pissed me off so much because it was so derivative of freaking Jonestown, but 1/10 of freaking what Jonestown really was. And I'm watching the movie saying, don't do this, please don't let me see Kool-Aid next. And I was so pissed off. I finished the movie but didn't want to. But anyway, that's another.
I can understand being upset if you know the history of Jonestown. Yeah, I know the story,
either way, it's
but I didn't think it was bad. I actually thought
neither
it was a well-made film.
I liked it too.
I'm not saying it's not a well-made film, but it's an insult to freaking.
I mean, I know it was JP's number 1 that year. It was actually my number 25 that year. I did a top 25.
It angered me. It's cheap. It's a cheap way to make a movie and not give any credit. It'd be like let's save this for another segment, another day. Let's just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, he's angry.
We'll go into something else because I can talk about this. I will argue these points with anybody. I'll bring JP in.
Nobody's even arguing with you. You're arguing. We're trying to calm you down, and you're just arguing.
I'm calm. All right, I'm calm. Fuck that movie. Oh, man.
We're all scared of your demeanor right now.
Okay, now here's a voicemail. It's our old buddy BC. Yes. This is a long one. We're gonna have to pause it a few times.
Oh, God, BC.
Hi, Exploding Heads guys. This is Saul. Oh, my ass is going crazy, and I'll bring all my shoes and my glasses with me, so I have them. Just kidding. This is Bill Casanelli, BC. Anyway, I thought I'd touch base with you guys. I haven't called in a while. It's been a couple of months. I've been going through a divorce. That's the bad news.
Congratulations.
The good news is that I thought of an idea that I don't think has been done yet. How about this? A single site for horror fans. See, part of the reason for the divorce is that my wife was never a horror fan. And so we didn't have the same tastes and interests. So she found herself someone she's more compatible with. Me, on the other hand, I think I need to find myself a good old-fashioned horror geek girl. As far as the show goes, man, you guys are putting out episodes faster than an Ethiopian chicken. I mean, I don't even have time to talk about one episode before you've already got another one out the door. It's kind of cool, actually. As far as the solos go, hey, Brandon, I liked yours the best, buddy. That's right. Yours had the best ideas. Brandon, don't breathe. You know it. Hidden gems for the win.
Did you hear what he did? Wait a minute.
I talked right over it. I'm sorry.
Did you notice it? Hold on. Listen to that again. Listen closely.
Hey, Brandon, I liked yours the best, buddy. That's right. Yours had the best ideas. Brandon, don't breathe. You know it. Hidden gems for the win. I kid because I love. Brandon, I did vote for you as my favorite of the solo show. Take that, Dave and Christian. Hey, Brandon, they say there's safety in numbers, right? Tell that to 6 million Jews. Hey, Brandon, what's the difference between Adolf Hitler and Michael Phelps? At least Phelps could finish a race. I hope you're not really offended by my jokes. In fact, last week I sent 2 jokes to Japan. They both bombed. Hey, Christian, what does anal sex and Brussels sprouts have in common? If you're forced to have it as a kid, you'll probably hate it as an adult. Hey, Dave.
Speak of the devil.
What's the difference between a dead baby and a jar of mayonnaise? I don't fuck my mayonnaise. Also, the Lauren Ashley Carter episode was brilliant. She was lovely as usual. And the Hellraiser box set review, very cool, guys. Also, Dave, I wanted to point something out to you. You mentioned a little joke in episode 34. You said, Linnea Quigley Down Under. Well, I'll have you know, for any of you unlucky souls who actually saw Girls Gone Dead, we had Linnea Quigley in a role playing Wet Willie. And we had her use an Australian accent for that sole purpose of the joke, for Linnea Quigley Down Under. So, very cool, man. I also wanted to talk about the paranormal thing you guys were mentioning, but I don't want this to be Steve Carpenter length, so I'll probably just send an email with a picture, because I got a pretty good story. Anyway, you guys have a great show. I love you all, and take care. Bye.
Nice.
BC. Awesome.
Oh, great. How crazy that he was having all those kind of jokes right after we were talking about a Serbian film.
Yeah, that's cute.
How about after we're talking about who gets the most heat, and now all the Jew jokes?
I know.
It is the Jews. Felt finish a race. I like that one.
They were all good jokes. Oh, shit. Oh, I want to give you advice, BC. Number one, I say congratulations about the divorce because I've been through one. And it was the happiest day of my life. That's why I said that, because A, enjoy your freedom for the short time you have it, and get over your shit, and it's only going to get better from here, believe me. And the horror fan thing, you would think that would be a good idea.
I think it would be a great idea as somebody who's doing so much online dating these days. Because I'm always looking to match up with girls who are into horror. And occasionally I do. And they'll write, oh, I love horror. What podcast do you do? And, we'll get to talking and shit like that. Nothing ever works out, obviously, because I'm me. But I do think that's a great idea.
I don't think it's because it's you. I think it's because you talk about getting jizz shot on your face every second episode. It may be a turnoff.
Might be, right? Just a bit.
Might be, yeah.
He had so much jizz in his eyes. I'm sorry.
It's a slippery slope.
It's a sticky situation.
I was going to go with sticky situation, but I decided to go with the highbrow humor. With
situation. Oh, shit. Listen, my first wife, we met because of horror. When we first met, all we were doing was one-upping each other on everything that we owned as collectors, and this and that, and we watched horror together constantly, and everything else. And it doesn't matter. A fucking lunatic is a fucking lunatic, no matter what she likes. I would have loved if we would have worked out because we had that in common. There was never arguments about what to watch. We had great viewing experiences together. In the end, that's what we had in common. But again, it doesn't fix everything else that goes wrong in relationships. So don't put too much stock into that. Just let shit happen normally. I understand why you'd want to, because, then you can watch horror with them. And maybe it's, whatever. Maybe it's just my bad luck, but whatever. More power to you. That's all I'm going to say, though. My first wife is, I don't want to talk about her ass, but whoo, I'm still getting
talk about the rest of her.
Tits. Tits.
Screw.
We got some food and drink. Is that the same guy? Oh, shit. Okay. I guess that's it. If you guys want to participate, don't forget, email us, explodingheadshorrorpodcast@gmail.com, or voicemail us, 702-625-2224. That's a 702-625-2224. Boom. That's that. We'll see you in a minute with the next review.
All right, next up, The Burning, 1981, directed by Tony Malum. A former summer camp caretaker, horribly burned from a prank gone wrong, lurks around an upstate New York summer camp, bent on killing the teenagers responsible for his disfigurement.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hey, I'm boining here. I'm boining.
Hey, Saul?
Hey, boiny, I'm boining.
Yeah, this is filmed where I grew up. North Tonawanda, New York. Amazing. And I still don't know where it's at. Like, I know where North Tonawanda is. I don't know where the hell they filmed this movie. I put pictures up online. I've asked for help. Don't know. The climax, I have no idea. But I did learn that was actually filmed in a deserted copper mill or something like that. You know all that shit at the end when they're walking through.
All I heard was you talking about help climax.
Okay, here's like I said before, I continued on with it, and I was looking at more 1-star reviews. So here's a 1-star review for The Burning. Verified purchase from Medinas. So sorry I bought this one. This was such a lousy movie. Being the huge, capital letters, horror fan that I am, I had never heard of this one.
What?
Okay. That should, in capital letters, have been a clue. But after reading the reviews, I was encouraged. Compared to the old greats like the original Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, this had such promise. But there was so many characters to keep track of. What? Not that I cared about any of them. And the end was so lame with that stupid-looking, gigantic pink head. In the mind shaft. Not mine, mind.
Pink head shaft? What the hell is he watching a porno?
He's watching like a bad VHS copy.
I don't know. Or where he was. Who cares? Oh well, live and learn. Don't waste your time and especially not your money on this one.
You know what I think of that review?
I give that review 1 star.
I actually cared about all these characters. I thought these characters were great.
It's a fun movie, man. I've come down on this thing.
All of them, and there were like 50 of them.
I have such a love-hate with this movie, as in I love it so much. Like a Friday the 13th movie, I feel like I could tear it apart. And we did on TJF 13. And, when I do it, it's out of love. Like the day for night photography, it's so ridiculous. But it adds to its charm. Holly Hunter not saying a fucking word in the movie adds to its charm. The music, I love the music when he gets out. I love it too. When he gets out of the burn hospital and he's heading down to before he gets to horror. Streets. That music is beautiful.
Yep.
The music in this is fantastic and as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
And fantastic and well.
It's fantastic and well.
It's well.
Now,
fantastic and doing well.
The one quibble, which is common in some horror slashers, but not so much anymore. But it's that after that opening prank, which I'll get back to. Goddamn, we'll get back to that. Is the hooker gets killed, and then there's nothing for like 45 minutes or longer. It's a long haul. I think it's closer to an hour. It might be the 50-minute mark before the bodies start building up.
Yeah, I was going to say, even in total, I think the one thing this film could have used was a few more kills.
Well, because everything happens on that damn raft.
The raft is great, but there's still so many characters left alive by the end of this film. Usually in a summer camp, in a camp slasher, usually it's 1 or 2 at the end. And here it's like, there's like 8 survivors probably, maybe more.
Well, there's a ton. Which I like. I like that. Kind of gives it that Friday the 13th Part 2, where a group of people survive, yet we saw a bunch of people get killed.
I just wanted a few more kills.
That prank. Let's go back to the beginning. That fucking prank.
Oh my God! Where did they get a human head from?
With maggots and everything else, and then light it with the candles. Why would the candles be the icing on the cake, so to speak, to make this the best prank ever? Why? And then he wakes up to say, "Ooh, ooh," and he kicks it, and instantly kerosene. He's got kerosene right beside his loft. Everything goes up. They don't even try to hide the fact.
His hand onto his bed.
They don't even try to hide the fact that he's wearing a fire outfit. One of those fire retardant outfits, you totally see them. Like, they could have edited it a little bit better.
Now you can.
They don't care. Oh, you think it's because of DVD and Blu-ray?
Absolutely.
Is this how summer camp was in the 80s for you guys? Were you guys beaten by the caretaker? I mean, they're getting revenge on him. It's like, I don't like him. He beats me.
Well, that's an old story. It was this is something that circulated around this area. They actually made a documentary about it called Cropsey a few years ago. But
I saw that documentary. That's a great documentary.
Now, that was made because of all these campfire stories in Western New York and in New Jersey and the eastern states about a guy named Cropsey. And this movie was originally called The Cropsey Maniac. And they ended up changing it for, I don't know the reason why, to The Burning.
Or the Greasy Maniac.
Or the Greasy Maniac. Right,
That's why he went up so quickly, because he was all greasy.
Okay. There's so many things. The candles. I think they needed the candles so we could see. Right?
Yeah, so they could see the skull. But how do you think JP would feel about the worm placement on this? Because JP's biggest beef with Zombie was bad worm placement.
I think he's okay with these worms. JP, let us know.
JP, let us know what you think of the Burning's worm placement.
That was seriously one of his complaints about Zombie?
Yeah, when we did the Lucio Fulci show. I haven't let him live it down since.
Yeah, you should.
He said bad worm placement. We torment him for it. Bad worm placement.
It's fucking great.
You're nitpicking now.
I'll tell you something. I would rather look at Cropsey when he's burned than the way he looks when he's in bed, when he's a regular human. Because I can't look at him. Like, you know how I have issues? Yeah, that nose, the way his nose looks, and how you can see all the hairs in his nose. It grosses me out. I look away when I watch this movie.
I'd rather see a bird.
His nose looks better burned. I'm not kidding you. And I've seen him recently because he did an interview on the Blu-ray. And it doesn't look as bad as it did then. Of course, back then he's laying down so you can see right up his nostrils. I mean, we all look bad probably if you look up our nostrils. But you couldn't help but look up his nostrils because the way his nose looked. It was just, I don't know. I can't look at it.
How about this being a Miramax production, like one of the early ones? The Weinsteins. Yeah.
Dude, I learned this. I heard
Your
about
cousins,
that.
Brendan.
Well, listen. No, dude.
My cousins.
No, they used to be these things out here. Like when concerts would come, and when I was a kid, and they were promoted by a group, and I forgot all about it until I watched the thing the other day when I watched the commentary, and they used to be promoted by something called Harvey and Corky. Have you ever heard of that? Maybe you did.
Corky Burger?
In Canada. Yeah.
I'm just saying that because I know Corky Burger, because it's the dumbest name I've ever read in my life, and it's in the credits.
Well, no, that's him, and it was Harvey Weinstein, and they were big promoters out here for Buffalo concerts and things. But I forgot all about it. Eventually, it got taken over, became Ticketmaster, then something else, and now it's very corporate. But at the time, local concerts, at the end of the radio ad would say presented by Harvey and Corky. And little did I know that Harvey Weinstein, that they were from Buffalo. And this is all Buffalo based. It's crazy that all this was right in my backyard, and I didn't even realize all the connections, and I keep finding out more and more. Even in the beginning, when they took out that thing, when they took out that head that we were talking about with the worms and the fire, it came out of a box of potato chips called Troyer Farms. Do you guys know what Troyer Farms potato chips are or no?
No.
Are those the ones that they use in The Shining and in the canteen?
No. No. But Troyer Farms was something in the 80s that we could get here. So it's all this local shit, and it pisses me off that I can't find this campsite. But
were they in the walk-in and sleepaway camp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the other one. Man boy. What was it?
Man bear pig.
Yeah. Did you go to Camp Stonewater or Camp Blackfoot when you were a kid?
I wish I knew where they were. I have to find this out. Everything they mentioned, the hotel they stayed at. Everything that I see in the credits and everything they said in the interviews that I watch is all stuff I've heard of and know of. Some of it's not here anymore. But
all right, so let's
crazy.
make it a goal to find out where this is, and then the three of us can do a video like
okay.
you banana heads did.
Let's do it. Come down and we'll try it. I'll look. I will definitely look. I'd love to know.
Christian
like
didn't agree to come.
Oh, he'll come.
All over the place.
That's right.
I just passed it the other day. What do you think when so he hits the burn unit, and I love that the interaction with the black guy and the most white cracker motherfucker.
Right, totally, of all people. This is what you gotta see.
Yeah, you gotta. Come on, man, take a look. Take a look. He really wants to see him.
And did you hear what the white guy said? He says, "I don't want to. I know black's in fashion, but I don't want to." Nah, he didn't say it.
He was so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
A Big Mac. Overdone. That
Yeah.
guy's great.
Yeah.
See what you gotta see. I was gonna say that
when he comes out, there's all that voiceover, and then they're wheeling him out, and he stands up. I love the way he's dressed there with the hat and like the overcoat. Like I wish they used that outfit throughout a little bit more, but they just don't really show him much. Just in silhouettes and the close up of the shears. That's really all they do. But man, oh man, does he look creepy there? And I wish they really carried that through a bit more. But isn't it weird that they show all of this and they still, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it almost seems like they try to put some red herrings in there. You're like it almost like they were like making Alfred like a red herring at one point.
Alfred was like Alan in part 4, just not as bad.
Okay, so you think he was just being the misunderstood kid. They don't think they were trying to make him look like he was the creepy guy that could be the killer. Because they're obviously established the killer and everything else.
Not for us, for the other people on the camp to suspect why they
Okay, all right.
Although they never do suspect him.
Yeah. They never
what's
get
his
to the
name
point.
does?
Who, Glazer?
Glazer.
Glazer just hates him.
Who's 29 years old in this movie, by the way. He's 29 years old when he made this movie.
Please, everybody in this movie, Alfred was like 31 as a camper, I think, in this. Because Alfred, I think, is older than most of them.
My favorite fucking scene, and I'm, of course, exaggerating. It's not my favorite scene, but I love it every time. Because he's so down Alfred's throat the whole movie. When Alfred comes in to the mess hall for lunch, and Glazer takes a fucking thing of salt and shakes it at him. It's such a throwaway thing, but if you look at it, he's like, "What you fuck?" And he throws like salt at him. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just, there's no reason for him to do it. It's great.
He hates him. Oh, he's great.
Shake salt at him.
Dude, this movie's full of aggressive men that are all fucking trying to get laid, and that's where their anger's coming from.
Well, they don't want to be sent to summer camp when they're 28 years old.
Now, if you told me this was a feminist horror movie, I could buy it almost. Alfred's the final girl. All the women, all the guys are like, the second they don't get sex, they're totally pricks. Glazer ends up being a prick, and then he comes so quick that he ends up being the most sweetest guy ever. I mean, this is a feminist horror movie. No?
Well, yeah. Just as much, I mean, as much as anything else.
More so than Slumber Party Massacre, which was directed by a woman and said to be a feminist horror slasher film. I don't know. Maybe I'm stretching and I just want to argue it more. But yeah, the dynamics. The kids are likable, man. You kind of recognize them. They're great. A lot of these people have been in tons of shit. A lot of the guys have. There's that Jason Alexander guy. He's been in a few things.
He's freaking great, dude. He is so good at
Eddie's how about he is good in this movie? How about Eddie's character though? Like especially when he goes skinny dipping with Karen, he's like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah, I love it.
Like dude. What? Like 18-year-old camper has that move? Like you could tell he's like older because who has that in arsenal as a kid at summer camp? Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah,
I'll tell you, he sounds. The way these kids act and talk in this movie, they are just like Western New York Italians. Oh, this is like, the way they talk is just like us. Like, I'm not saying Italians in New York City. It's completely different than Western New York, than my area. Everybody in this, not everybody, but a lot of characters in this movie, the way they talk, their mannerisms, everything else, it's very... like of this area. It's freaking great, man.
Hey, when two people like each other, they get together. That's just what they do.
So you do it. He says, he's great. You do it.
That's just what you do.
And it's funny when the kid gets mad later, and he goes, "Come on, she's gonna let the boats go." I love him. We had a little argument. She's gonna let the boats go. I love him. And he's fucking great. They're all great. Hey, I'm talking to her. That's fucking good. This movie, you said before about the 45 minutes, and I don't even realize there's nobody getting killed.
You know what? In TJF 13, we were looking for it to make fun of the movie. Like that's what the other podcast is about. Here, when I watched it again, I'm like, I was just totally enjoying it. Like I enjoy this movie a lot. I put it up there with Friday the 13th, which is why I feel like I can make fun of it. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite slasher films as well. Like,
I love it too.
Like, if I'm blowing my load early, so be it. It's fun. Yeah, I shit on the day for night photography because it's ridiculous. The fucking sun's in the background, and it cuts to a scene they're sleeping and it's back. You're like, what the fuck, man? I know it was a low budget movie, and
he got up for 2 seconds to go get matches, and he came back and matches. Did he get? Yeah, he got matches. And came back, and it was pitch black.
You stay warm, you hear?
Oh.
You stay warm.
It's gonna be real nice.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that? That is the best shower scene since freaking Psycho. That is how a shower scene should be. You get a hot girl, you put her in the shower, and you let her soap up and do her hair, and she's showering naked, looking great for like 2 straight minutes. That's how it should be instead of these teases that you get. You know, and most
it's
of
the soap. They use Pert Plus.
Well, I like Sally. I'm a fan of Sally.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Sally.
Yeah, she's just got that look to her, man. She's got like a fuck me look on her. I don't know.
It's great. The prank is ridiculous, but it at the beginning, but I mean, it just picks up from there. And
What's ridiculous?
The prank at the beginning, and then
the prank.
Whole. I mean, like I said it already, and then. But once Cropsey gets back to the camp, which he hightails it right back to, gets laid, or doesn't even, kills a hooker, and goes right back to the fucking camp.
Not only that, he's been in the burn unit. He's been in the burn unit for 5 years, because 5 years go by, and he knows exactly which camp to go to look for who he's looking for. He knows exactly where Todd is.
Where he hopes Todd is, and he happens to be there. Yes.
Yeah, but Todd is not even really the mastermind of the whole joke, is he?
No,
that's the other thing. He's just one of the guys.
I would have gone after Snoop. I would have been like, what kind of stupid fucking name is Snoop? Let's get this guy first.
My name is Snoop.
Dog is dog.
No. He went back to the campsite, and Todd just happened to be there. You think he is keeping tabs on everybody that he was hoping one of them was going to be there, and Todd, poor bastard, happened to be the guy.
They should have done it prom night style. That actually would have made more sense. That instead of a hooker, he went and got one of the other guys, and then hunted maybe one other one down, and then got to the camp. I don't know. That might have made more sense.
He actually might have just knocked it down for me, because that's actually so much a better idea. If he had met up with the ringleader.
Killed him.
Who was asking everyone if we're okay with
don't get me. Todd's at camp.
Let's remake this fucking movie.
I had this idea, and I think I blew my load in an earlier episode of Exploding Heads, but I want to do this. Not a remake, a kind of a remake / sequel. It was just going to be called The Burning, because that's what they do nowadays anyway. And the pre-story was everything that happened in 1981. And I wanted Jason Alexander back, because he's alive and kicking. All the people that survive. Alfred's back. Holly Hunter. They're all there.
Still. She's like 60 years old, and she was on the Scream Factory doing interviews. She looks beautiful still.
Which one was Michelle?
The lead
counselor.
Girl,
the lead counselor, yeah.
And it could be like, you could be, is it Cropsey back? Is it a ghost? Is it a copycat? You play around with that. It could be a whodunit slasher, take place at the camp. I thought, great! What a great way to do a sequel.
And then at the end, it turns out to be Kramer.
Yeah.
Saying racist shit?
Yeah,
saying racist shit.
I'm not a racist.
You burnt motherfucker.
Oh, man, I was going to...
Kramer.
You burnt jive turkey. Slice that turkey. He's burnt.
Oh, man. Damn it, I had something about this film. The Burning Revenge. That's what you should call your movie. But the reason I say The Burning Revenge... This was the most expensive DVD I ever bought in my life. It was like $60.
You got the bootleg one before it was available mainstream uncut. Yeah.
Dude, it was a terrible freaking VHS transfer.
Yep.
It was called The Burning Revenge, and I got it on eBay for $60. It was the single most expensive thing I've ever spent money on for one disc of something. And I held that sucker for like 5 years, and then it got released officially.
What's he gonna say? He's gonna say something.
No, I was not gonna say anything rude. I was gonna because it's almost like I'm embarrassed by it, because I had watched this movie a couple times on VHS, and I'm like, and I've got to admit, kind of like My Bloody Valentine at the back in the day. I'm like, I like it, but it's all cut to shit, and half the fun of these movies is seeing them uncut. So then I went to Queen Video in Toronto, and this is before DVDs and everything else. This is when. Like, this was the store that had, if it existed, it would be there. and they had the
video,
Japanese.
You mean a video store for people like you?
Yeah, I think I brought this joke already up, and then you made, or this place up, and you made that exact same joke already. But anyway, I rented it there, and it was the uncut Japanese version. And I remember being so giddy when I held it in my hands, going, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this. And we went, we watched it. There was a bunch of horror fans. We all watched it. We were like, yeah, it's awesome. But in reality, there's some really good things here. But even the uncut version, everything happens so quickly and is edited so frantically that it takes away from it all. Like that raft scene is almost
too quick.
Doesn't even make sense.
It's too
how
quick.
people get killed.
What happened to the girl who fell into the water?
Yeah, she just fell in, maybe got stabbed. You're right.
Yeah, very quick. How was the chopstick kill in the Japanese uncut version?
Better than that joke.
How about when Woodstock comes floating back up to the top for no reason?
Yeah.
When freaking Michelle is out there and
where was he?
I don't know, but it was
under
great.
the raft. How was Kravsey hiding in the canoe?
Oh wow, I know. That is a little silly.
Then he jumps up and perfect balanced, and then kills the furthest person away on the canoe first, and then sort of makes his way back up front. But I got to tell you, is it Todd, the guy that gets the reverse Kevin Bacon? Eddie? Yeah, Eddie. He gets the reverse, like the shears go right in the neck. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful.
I like the girl who gets just the sliced head and just oozing.
Yeah.
And that's the first girl. She doesn't die. She falls down.
It's great.
And then he gets her like later on. He just slices her head and she's just gushing. It's awesome.
And then you get the trickle of the blood down her arm into the water. Then it fades to red. I think that's fucking brilliant, right?
The slit net is great. I think they said they used Annie's neck for it. I remember reading that Tom Savini used the same effect, like the Annie from Friday the 13th piece.
It's like one of my favorite kills.
Yeah, so that when she gets the shears, he said that they didn't have time to do all the effects again. They just applied the Annie neck to her and redid the effect.
Holy shit.
Cool. I'm 99.9% sure that's what I remember reading about that. And I think Lasers is one of the best kills in the movie. Other than Eddie with the shears in the neck, Glazer's death is probably the creepiest.
And it was his idea to be lifted off the ground. I was reading about that.
Glazers.
Yeah, the actor who played Glazer. Yeah. He helped create it so it looks like the shears are lifting him off the ground. That was a great kill.
It sure as fuck was. Yeah, this movie's a blast. I haven't had one negative thing to say or one nitpick, but one thing brings the movie down every single time, and really, it's the final chase. It's just, it goes on for too long. It's a final guy that they want us to be invested in this character, and I'm just not invested in him, and I'm barely invested in Todd. And it should
have been the main counselor, the girl.
It should have been Michelle.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Yes, the movie takes, that's why this is a movie that I think, although I love, could easily benefit from a remake / sequel, whatever. Like in this case, a remake would be good, and then maybe a sequel. But who knows? Like, I feel like there's so many places maybe it's been there, done that. Friday the 13th used the girl. We're going to use Alfred. Maybe that was the thought process.
Maybe they were playing it up that Alfred could have been one of the kids earlier. Maybe that was what they were going for. I never thought it for a second. Even though it turns out to be Todd. But yeah, usually you want a final girl.
And not two final guys. That in one of them that he does. I don't know. He's just. I'm not endeared to him at all. I mean, yes, he is getting picked on, and he shouldn't have been looking at that girl in the show. I'm not saying he's a total creep.
But to be honest, he was only being picked on by Glazer, and nobody liked Glazer.
That's true. You're right. He was.
So it's weird because even I forgot Jason Alexander's name, Dave.
He would have been great. I'd rather see him. He was
terrific. I mean, he was. You could tell, you could tell his performance in this movie that this guy's going on to do other stuff.
Yeah,
he just has presence.
Yeah, well, he probably became the most. Obviously, he was the most famous, other than maybe the wine scenes that made the movie, as to success that came after because of Seinfeld. But if you actually Google Glazer or look at IMDb for Glazer and Eddie, they're in tons of shit, man. Tons. The girls are the ones that have been in the least amount of stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
Poor Tiger.
So
Tiger. How many times did Michelle say the word tiger in the first freaking 8? She must have said tiger 8 times in the first freaking 15 minutes of this film when they got to camp. Did you guys notice that? I notice it every single time I watch it. How many times she says tiger? Oh, tiger.
I want her to die every time too. I want her to get cheered.
And then you never hear about Tiger again, even though she's on the trip and she just disappears basically.
They set her up like she might be a main girl. Tiger. She's running. She's oh my god. And then
they could have used her because she seemed like the youngest, so it would have been good to use her.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
You know what?
Or she could have get killed. I think the misstep was that Alfred should have been killed after the peeping Tom scene, and Tiger should have been killed or something like that because they introduced them. They both get killed because they're kind of innocents and whatever, and he's a kind of a creep, but kind of innocent. Boom, dead. That could have boosted the body count up, and then you focus on the girl, and then Todd has to save the girl because there's a connection there. It takes some bizarre, yet I guess that's kind of its charm. The route it decides to take.
Yeah.
In a way, except I just don't like the end. Alfred. It doesn't even. It could have been a girl, but we had to watch the guy walk all the way through that freaking maze thing, that abandoned copper mill, that shit that they had to walk through. First, we had to see him walk through it for like 10 minutes. Then we had to see Todd walk through the exact same thing for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Cropsey is not giving chase to anybody. At any time, do you see Cropsey chasing these people? No. We just have to assume that he's on the chase. That's where it falters, is in that climax.
Yeah,
I don't know why they did it. I don't get it. And then, check it out. This was supposed to be in a cave. The climax was supposed to be filmed in a cave. They went into a cave, and the first one was loaded with bats, and like loaded. And they brought lights down there and everything else, and they had to abandon it. Then they found another cave, and they went down there, and they get halfway down the cave, and then all of a sudden they had like a string to lead them back because that's how far down into it they were getting. And they looked down at the string, and the fucking cave started crumbling. So they were afraid the cave was going to collapse. So
it was concave.
A low budget feature, a movie that, they're not equipped to deal with things like that, so they just bolted. So they had to settle for this freaking what ended up being an abandoned copper mill or something.
Yeah. Even before that, you get to watch Alfred and Todd both go through separate.
That's what I'm saying.
Segments of running through the woods before they even get to the copper. Yeah.
They could have trimmed
more. They needed more kills as filler, actually.
And they could have trimmed 10 minutes off this climax easily, and it boosted it up.
And the climax is edited very poorly. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's the scene where he suddenly gets this flamethrower, which is cabled, so it only has so much distance it can go. Then it stops right at the opportune, best moment, and then he has to relight it or reset it on fire for the big climax. And there's some just editing when it goes into the flashback sequences. It's edited weird. Like, who's that flashback sequence for, really? But then the axe to the head is kind of a great little payoff.
Yeah, it is. It's a great scene. But that pop-up still scares me. Still jump a little.
Uh-huh.
When Cropsey pops back up after the initial when you think he's dead.
Yeah, and he grabs him around the neck. It's freaking...
Yeah. It's fucking... You make you jump even though you know it's coming.
Yep. It's cool. I don't like the way Cropsey looks as far as supposedly being a burn victim. And Savini said himself that it was a 3-day rush job. And, if he had more time and everything else, and seeing burn victims over the years, he realized that's not what they're supposed to look like. Basically, he just did something on the quick. But, he doesn't look like a burn victim. He looks way too inhuman to be a human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
he looks like a monster.
I was going to say a mongoloid. Yeah, he looks
much
like
worse than a mongoloid. He looks like
a ghouly muppet.
A ghouly muppet. I am not an animal.
He looks like someone from outer space. He doesn't look like anything remotely
outer
human.
Space. I don't think he looks like anything from outer space.
Like an alien. I don't know. How about this? Speaking of that, remember when they did that scary thing at the campfire where they're telling the campfire tale and the guy jumps out?
Eddie. Yeah, where Eddie pops
out.
Yeah.
You realize the mask that he has on looks just like the Gunther from freaking the Funhouse?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that something?
Yeah.
That's what it always reminds me of. Yeah.
How fucked up is it that scene is identical to Friday the 13th Part 2?
I know.
And they came out 1 week apart from one another in 81. One week apart.
Amazing. Savini blew off Friday 2 to do this because he thought the idea of Jason coming back was stupid. So he did this.
I know. Morals and the special effects makeup.
I'm glad he did this too, but like, I bet he's like thinking back to the idea of Friday 2 being stupid and being like, wow, I was way off.
Well,
that's why he came back for
the final
4.
chapter.
Yeah.
To kill him off. But I mean, here's what makes no sense. Friday 2 ended up being crazy censored anyway. While the Burning and the Prowler and Maniac were allowed to be pretty fucking gory. But that's a whole other story. That's because Friday pissed off the people and they punished them. But so either way, even if Savini would have gone to do Friday 2,
Maniac never even got a rating though, right? They didn't even try to get a rating.
Good call. They put it out non-rated at theater because X would not have played, which you can release it non-rated and get. Yeah.
I think it actually at that time it did get an X rating. That's what unrated was at that point. It was given the branded of X.
No, it wasn't. They didn't want the branding of X. So
they didn't submit it. They didn't submit it to the MPAA because they knew it would get the X.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. All right.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy, but that's what they did, and now it's R. I mean, obviously, at least they branded it R. I don't think it's been censored since its initial release, but anyway, something happens I think the last shot is actually scary. Another thing, when something's scary, I gotta bring it up. When they reenact the campfire scene at the end, and the guy goes, "You're dead," and looks into the freak.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Well, because it just retells the campfire tale. It's like the campfire tale will live on. I think it's. I always thought it was great too.
Or the idea of Cropsy might even live on because they're keeping it alive by telling this story. So who knows?
Dude, let me ask you this. This is what makes no sense. If you were Todd and you burned Cropsy, would you 5 years later be telling the story about Cropsy being burned and making light of it?
That's true. That's
right?
true. Todd's kind of a dick because he used it as a great campfire story and then shows no remorse at the end in terms of killing Cropsy again.
And I had this thought as well, and I brought this up before, so it's regurgitated, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. If he burnt him 5 years before, and he was all deformed, and then he burns him 5 years later, does that make him go back normal? That was a long setup, I know, I'm sorry.
Once bitten, twice burned.
He's overdone. A Big Mac. Overdone.
You've never seen anything like it.
That thing at the beginning that you mentioned for a second, when they're wheeling him down the thing,
yeah,
and you hear the voiceovers, I think that's fucking brilliant.
It's awesome.
I love that.
The creepiest opening. There's so many creepy parts to this movie that you worry, that I wonder why other parts feel so rushed. And I feel it was rushed. I feel like, I didn't read this, I feel like the ending was rushed. I think that's why we're getting a chase scene that's not really a chase scene. I think there's padding. I think maybe they expected to have some other kills and they didn't. And I think they played it out and they did the running time. I think they changed the whole look of the killer. And at the beginning, he's wearing that with a hat and the black. And then really he's just in the black and all you're seeing is shears. And I think the director had to do the shears because he said no one seemed to be able to do it right. The actor couldn't really do it right. So the director was always doing the shear shots.
I saw
like playing the killer for that stuff too.
There were no kills after the raft scene, right?
After the raft scene?
After the raft scene, no kills.
You don't think so? I think after the raft scene is when we see Glazer and Sally killed. I could be wrong.
No, I think those are the first two. Sally's the first one, then Glazer, and that's what. Then the rafts are gone, which is what makes them go.
Exactly.
And then there's the raft massacre.
Yeah, because Glazer wasn't involved with building the raft, so he was dead at that point.
I think the raft scene was before the Glazer kill.
I think you might be right. I think you might be right, actually, because
it's not too far apart. But I think
either way, after that kill, that's it. After those sets of kills, those 7 kills are pretty much the whole movie, with the exception of Cropsy and the prostitute, right? That's it. 9 total. Well, I think I read it was 10, but I can't figure out who the 10th is.
I think it's 10 too.
Well, it's the 5 on the raft, Glazer, Sally, Cropsy.
And the hood.
Oh, the other girl in the beginning. What's her name?
Karen.
Yes.
And the prostitute makes 10. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
And the prostitute makes 10. How many times you say that in your life?
And the prostitute.
They have that horrible shot too of I don't know why they needed to put it back in where he sees the girl that got her neck slit, and it's a still.
Oh, terrible!
Why did they use that? I don't know why they even put that in.
They wanted to do that freaking stupid Halloween freaking funhouse shit that everybody was doing at the time, but it ended up not working because it was a still shot, and it was supposed to be in a darker place in a cave, and then
horrible.
Put it in that little barn, and yeah.
However, the positive definitely outweigh the negatives. The negatives are just again what gives it its charm, seemingly. So,
and this is where what you talk about, Dave, with good dialogue, and we all talk about good characters carries the film, even in its probably the weakest act being the final act, because there's no kills. There's still the acting's good, the dialogue's good. You're invested enough that you care. Mm-hmm. Maybe you wish it was different people, but it carries it through. Otherwise, you'd be like, what the hell? No one died.
Didn't matter. I love the camaraderie of the four guys. Of Dave, Jason Alexander.
Yeah, Woodstock.
And the other kid. Who was the other kid? Fish. He looks like freaking... every time I watch this movie for a second...
The guy from Vacation. Christmas,
and Night of the Creeps.
Yes, and then Jason Lively. Every time I say it, I think I said it in my podcast too. The other one, I said it's Jason Lively, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not him, but it looks exactly like him.
Sure, why wouldn't it be him? He was in Night of the Creeps. He was around at that time. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Vacation. Yeah.
I like seeing Fisher Stevens. Fisher Stevens is Woodstock.
He's great too, man.
He's cool.
Short Circuit 2 and The Burning.
Right. 1, 2, 3, pork 'em, he says, and then they shoot Glazer in the ass. Pork 'em.
There's more camp in this than Friday the 13th. It was like Sleepaway Camp again. You definitely get way more camp.
It goes
and then the big girl just checks Glazer right into the water.
Yeah. And Sally still sleeps with him.
Yeah, Sally. Yeah, I couldn't get a hint.
I like it because there's banjo. They get the banjo in there, like a Friday the 13th movie. They're all having fun. Yeah.
It reminds you of Snoopy. It reminds you of like the Snoopy freaking when Snoopy went to camp and the Charlie Brown kids and they're rowing and they're playing that music. That's what it reminds me of every time I watch it. They're freaking Snoopy, right? Or something. And that shit was real. Like, if you watch the movie, people rowing a boat, that's not how you row a boat. They have 3 people rowing at the same time and everything else. And the director just let it happen. And they crashed into each other, and that one canoe sank. None of that was scripted. It was all the director just let them go and do it because he knew it was going to be ridiculous, and they crashed into each other. So we just let these dumb kids be dumb kids, and freaking it was all none of it was on the script. Everything you see on that boat ride was just the kids having fun.
That's funny because they went down quick.
Yeah, one girl said, "Oh, what's her name?" is on the commentary. There's a commentary with freaking Tiger, and she says that she thinks that there actually was a hole in the boat, and somebody put a hole in the boat intentionally to have a slow leak. That's what they believe, but I don't know.
That's awesome. This is the Scream Factory edition.
Yeah. Well, we better rate this sucker out. We got more to do here.
Oh yeah,
man.
Let's do it. Okay, I'll go again. I will say 8.5 out of 10. If it wasn't for the fucking last scene, it could be higher because everything that you want in a slasher is in this movie, but that climax brings it down. But 8.5.
Yeah, I'll go next. I'll say I'm right there with the 8.5. I wish there were a few more kills, but still so much fun. Yeah,
and I really love this movie as well. I do have some issues with it, but ultimately it's an 8 out of 10.
Right now, I thought you were going to come in higher. Wow. That's funny. I thought you were going to come in with a 9. No shit. All right. Well, we are doing some triple R's, but we're not going to do as many as usual because this is a big show. So, how many? Well, we'll see. We all have different amounts today, so we're just going to kind of go through. A lot of stuff Christian has seen, I have seen also. So, Christian, you should take your lead.
I am going to take a lead because I took a challenge. And I really need to get this off my chest. I watched. Oh wait, do we have the theme music for this?
The theme music for triple R's?
Yeah, I'm just sing me in.
Give me a second. I could find something.
No, I'm counting.
Triple R's? Oh.
I think I sang some stupid song last time. I watched Voodoo.
I can't wait to hear this. Tell me you agree with me.
Here we go. I have notes.
All right.
Dave was absolutely, positively, unequivocally, I don't even know what's the word, right about the end part. Right. He was right.
Thank you.
It is like a bad haunted house Halloween haunt. Unfortunately, what he didn't quite prepare me for was the brutal 40 minutes that led up to that point, because they were horrible as well. A couple things. Ron Jeremy, why? I mean, I used to have respect for this guy, and he's in this movie. The Uncle Molester character was a dreadful fucking actor. Actually, I think all the actors were horrible, except maybe the main girl. I think she was okay. I said she was all right, but everybody else I thought was horrible. The movie itself, honestly, it was fucking atrocious. I don't understand. I'm not sure what people are seeing in this, because it was horrible. I said the only thing Voodoo worse than this was the body count song, Voodoo. But at least that one has some unintentional laughs because the lyrics are so brutal. If you don't know what that is, just Google or YouTube body count Voodoo and enjoy that song. Trust me, I love that song. It's just so horribly bad. It's
It was like an Alice in Chains ripoff. I know that.
No. You got it's. I saw this woman. She had a doll. The doll looked like me. She had a knife. She stuck it in the doll. Ah, my eye, bitch. Those are lyrics. You gotta hear it.
That sounds awesome.
It's horrible, but you gotta hear it. So I give this movie.
It sounds like clay.
I give this movie, for the 3 sequences that I'm going to mention here, which is the unsettling opening, a baby eating scene, and the devil rape, and I don't even care if those are spoilers, I give this movie a 4. A 4 out of 10.
Oh, God.
I wanted to prove Dave wrong.
Challenge.
I wanted to prove you wrong, Dave. I really wanted to enjoy this, but you were bang on.
What did you give it, Dave?
I gave it a 5.
All right, I'm not taking this challenge. I know I was supposed to take this challenge as well, but I'm not doing
it.
These guys are saying this movie's great. The second you see the thing, it's like, it looks like they just got, like, they bought one of those mannequin things with the red eyes. There was nothing scary about it at all. It was absolutely laughable.
Yep.
Now Christian's getting angry.
No. Well, because maybe Dave was being too hard on this. Maybe Dave was being too hard on the movie. I don't know. But no.
Turns out he was being too easy on it.
Yeah, I guess. So that's it. 4 out of 10. Voodoo.
4 out of 10.
See it at your own risk.
Yeah, hey, you know what I say about it. As long as we're going low, I am going to start off with something here.
Dissertation on what film?
This is it'll be short. I'm just going to read my notes. This is a screener I have. The name of the movie is The Control Group, and it's Wild Eye releasing.
Oh God, Wild Eye.
Starring Brad Dourif. That's why I chose this one. I had 3 to choose from.
Brad Dourif.
I chose this because Bradley was in it.
But you never choose Wild Eye.
Whatever. I wanted to see Brad Dourif. When I show you the other 2 that I was suggested, you'll know why I picked this. So he stars as a mad scientist in this movie. This movie follows kidnapped co-eds as they attempt to escape from his grasp. Writer-director Paul Hurd's debut is now available on cable and digital platforms, including iTunes, Dish Network, Voodoo, Xbox, Google Play, and YouTube. A DVD release is planned for May. So, I chose this one mostly, like I said, because Brad Dourif is in it. I'm going to read my notes and try to remember it the best I can, because it's been a couple weeks for a lot of these movies. For the 2017s. These kids wake up, they were knocked out, and we see one, I want to say that it's Jack, but Jack, Corey, Vanessa, Jamie, Grant, they wake up and they're in an abandoned asylum, and he's hallucinating, and you see that he's having flashbacks. It's kind of funny because the first 20 minutes of this film, when these people meet up and they're talking, some have known each other longer, but they're not really good friends. and I can't remember how they even all got together. They're part of an experiment. That's what happened. But the first 20 minutes of this film, when they're talking, it reminded me of video game acting. That's all I could say.
Video game acting?
You know, you play like modern video games, like
Yeah.
Until Dawn or things like that, and you see the way they're talking to each other. It totally reminded me of the acting you see in video games.
Like Hubert? Like Hubert?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hubert. Yeah. That got better. It got out of there, but different things happen. You keep seeing a hooded figure. You don't know why. Then later on, this ghost girl appears named Anne, and the way she talks, she sounds like the Resident Evil girl. You know, the Resident Evil, the one that you are doing something wrong. That girl, whatever the hell.
Siri?
You know.
Before Siri came out?
Siri, whatever it is, that voice. Yeah, okay.
Alexa.
These guys are running around. They end up calling them the Crow People. They had these hoods on, and they had these long nose. You know what they look like? They look like friggin'
Gonzo?
Spy versus Spy. Spy versus Spy.
Oh, yeah,
Remember those
yeah.
things?
From Mad
That's
Magazine.
what these freaking... Dude, yeah. They legit, that's what these things look like. So they have all these things going on at once. They got these Spy versus Spy Crow People that wake up. They're all hallucinating different things. And then, like I said, this one guy sees the ghost girl. There's all kinds of weird shit going on. The score is actually good. The CG gore is a problem, unfortunately. We find out that these people are test subjects. There's a battle going on between doctors, scientists, security, and mechanics, and there's some practical effects that aren't bad. It goes into something. It's a little bit convoluted, like there's a lot of shit going on. I'm just going to read the rest of my notes here. They're hunting for a file to find out how to stop some things. They keep being told to not to trust, and to only trust your instincts. Then later on, they meet up with the zombies and crow people, and there's more battling. It goes batshit crazy. They do a few cool things with the color palette, but for some reason, it looks like 2004. Like when you watch a Saw movie, like the way that the tone of the film, the way it looks like that green or
Like
sepia tone, that's what they call it.
Greenish, yeah.
That's what this looks like, and it's a 2017 movie, so that's kind of weird. Dr. Brad, you don't get to see him much. You don't get to see Brad Dourif nearly as much as you want to, and he's just there. And
That's
ultimately,
how they sucked you in. That's how they sucked you in.
That's how they sucked. But
They told you he was in it.
I'm telling you, when I show you the other two I had to choose from, you'll see why I chose this. But ultimately, it's below average, nothing special, 4.5 out of 10. So that is the control group.
We are starting low this year.
Yeah,
This
I
week.
went low because you had your low, so I said I'll go into mine. So
Cool.
boom.
Are we letting
How many
Brandon go yet?
Well, how many are you guys? Are you guys doing 4 each? Because if you are, you guys do one more before.
Okay.
I can
Go ahead,
even
Steve.
cut it down to 3 if we want to.
Okay.
So I'm good.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, well,
We'll do more next
put
time.
it this way. I'll now say that all the other ones I watched were quite good. I'll go. It was a very good week after Voodoo.
Cool.
So the next movie was a bizarre one. I didn't know what to expect. I definitely wasn't expecting what I got either. And that is We Are the Flesh.
Yeah, I saw this too.
I'm interested to hear about this because
Okay.
I've been hearing really good things about this.
So this is a Mexican horror film, and it's a positive. Sorry.
Did you hear that, JP? It's a positive for once.
Yeah. Sí, senor.
Sí, claro. Sí, claro.
The dialogue is very scarce for the first 10 minutes or so. So we open. There's a guy secluded. It looks like an abandoned warehouse. He's farting around, creating with materials, and he's making a gas. And then
Yeah,
he
he
rings
was
a
making meth or something.
yeah, and he's ringing a bell, or a bell rings, and he seems to be trading this gas for eggs through this hole in the wall. And so we're under the impression, of course, that we're in a Mad Max post-apocalyptic world and whatnot. Then eventually 2 kids break in. We find out they're brother and sister. They kind of ask to stay. The dude locks them in a room to sleep and makes them work during the day. And the work is consists of them taping up the room with cardboard and empty egg cartons and whatnot. He doesn't actually like the eggs. He just wants the cartons so he can create stuff with them. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
The guy's totally off his fucking rocker. He's totally insane. As he states in a really creepy scene, he's embraced his like isolation and is no longer afraid of his deepest, darkest, sickest thoughts or feelings. And so you don't know, is it drugs? Is it madness? Is it both? As the movie progresses, it gets more twisted and more bizarre in the actual story and also in its storytelling technique. And so it becomes allegory. Very much like, not very much, but in the same tone as like the Neon Demon last year. We get, it goes into, you're going to be reading into this movie a lot. It becomes a little bit more artsy. It actually becomes very artsy. There's lingering close-ups. And again, this is a joke, but this is not a joke. There's lingering close-ups of Bush, and there's just enough penis to keep Brandon engaged as well.
Yes.
The ending is intriguing, and it could either be looked at as a brilliant punchline to the movie or an absolute total cop-out. And I could see people arguing it both ways. So while I was blown away when I watched the Neon Demon last year, I wasn't quite as blown away as this one, but I really enjoyed my time with the movie. It's short. It's 80 minutes. It's definitely unsettling in scenes, and it goes into some territory that you would never expect it to go into. Very bizarre, very haunting. It's definitely recommended. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Whoa.
Wow.
Came in a lot lower than you were talking.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because I got to see it again, I think, because I'm not sure. Like I really enjoyed it, but I'm just not sure if it's the masterpiece it wants to be.
Okay.
No, it's not. I couldn't wait for it to end.
Really?
Oh God, what did you give it?
Dude, it was crazy artsy. Crazy. There's art stuff I love, like the Neon Demon and artsy movies that we've blown here, Black Coat's Daughter and everything else. But there's artsy that makes sense, and there's artsy that's just there to be artsy.
Yeah.
And that's what this was to me. There's lots of genitalia all over the place. It's nice seeing that chick. She's kind of hot. We get a little bit of that. We get to see her genitalia. It's the beginning was fine. I was intrigued for like the first 15, 20 minutes. And the more we got into the character of him, and then when he forces them to have sex, and then he dies and then somehow comes back, and you don't know what's going on and what's real and what's not. And then everything
he hasn't seen the movie.
Huh?
Don't hold back.
The movie yet.
Keep telling the whole.
It doesn't matter in a movie like this because none of it makes sense. That's what I'm saying. You don't even know who I'm talking about when I said he dies and comes back. It could be anybody. There's all kinds of shit going on in this.
Could be the girl. She could die and he comes back.
There is wacky stuff, Dave, and I agree. And I was like, what the fuck? But I was intrigued. I wanted to see how it played out. I really wanted to see how it played out.
The soundtrack and the mood were a plus. I'll say that. And it's not a horrible movie. Ultimately, I gave it a 5. It's a fucking right there. 5 out of 10. It's a movie.
Nah.
I know some people have been super high on this, though.
And I've seen both extremes. I've yet to see someone come right in the middle. I think Brandon will like it.
I can't wait.
I think Brandon will like it.
I'll check it out. I was very intrigued by this one.
But again, I'm with Dave a little bit. That's why it's a 7 as opposed to me blowing it and giving it like a 9 or 10. It's something I don't get everything that happened, and I think it's because as Dave said, it was trying, or I even said this, it was trying to do stuff. I don't know if it was always successful in delivering what it wanted to do. However, I did like a lot of what it was doing.
So another view could turn it into a 5 or a 9.
I agree. It could go either way. 5 just seems bizarre to me, but I guess if I'm at a 7, I'm going to go down. It's just 5 we say is average. And I think this movie will have to draw more extremes. So even the fact that I'm at a 7 almost is suspect in a sense. But that's where I sit right now.
Cool. Dave, you got one more?
This one's going to be worse than I usually am because I even though I saw it, I don't remember it so well. So I'm just going to read my notes. This is called Dig Two Graves. In the beginning, it's 1947, and we see a couple bodies being thrown off a cliff into the water. And you see a sheriff and a deputy. I think I sent you guys a message at one point because I got confused halfway through because next thing you know, it's 30 years later. And let me take you back to the 30 years before. Sorry, I jumped ahead. But right before it cuts to the 30 years later, you see the two cops, a sheriff and a deputy. And the deputy tells the sheriff, "You're not sheriff in this town anymore." And the sheriff takes his badge and throws it in the water. And now I can't tell which of them is the good guy and which is the bad guy by that exchange. So later on, it's 30 years later, and then we see a sheriff, and I don't know which is the guy in the right or which is the guy in the wrong. That wasn't made clear to me, and maybe that's just me. But one of the guys is Ted Levine, and he is now the sheriff. I believe he was the deputy. He became the sheriff. And then basically, as the story unfolds, it becomes a story between them two. We see that the one guy did something wrong, and he was shaking down some gypsies that were in the neighborhood. And again, I'm trying to remember this as best I could, but the guy did something wrong, and shit, how can I do this?
Naked.
You know what? I can barely remember what the hell's going on here.
Put your toe in your mouth.
That too.
The one you're massaging right now.
Right? Three guys from the past. They exchange a friend for a brother. Yeah, somebody says you know what? I don't even fucking remember. It's a 6.5 out of 10. It's not a bad movie. I can't remember shit about it. There's snakes. Somebody wants a pendant. A kid takes someone else to a ledge. They try to reenact it. Basically, everything that happens in the past comes back to haunt people in the future, and I can't remember shit. And I'm just shooting there. That's
I heard it was kind of confusing. I heard a lot of people were a little confused by this one. I haven't checked it out yet. It's
not bad. Like I said, it's a 6.5 out of 10. It's worth checking out. Maybe you guys can make more sense of it. And if I would have taken better notes, I would have more to say about it. But I'm just going to leave it at that. That's all I got. Sorry.
That's okay, man. That's okay. Brandon, you finally get the floor.
Oh, I get to speak. All right, my first movie is a film called Peelers.
Nice. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of positive things about this film, so I decided to check it out. It's about a small-town strip club owner who must defend her bar, called the Titty Balls. She must defend her strippers and her life when violent infected patrons show up on the final night that she's the owner. She sold the place, and this is her final night as owner, and all hell breaks loose. All right, so the main character, the owner of the bar, her name is Blue Jean, although you do not want to call her BJ, because when you do, she beats the shit out of you.
I like her.
She's the head of the bar.
It's like Marty McFly being called Chicken?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So on her last night as the owner, like a group of mine workers come in, and they start to become infected because they touched some sort of like weird oil that they found on their last shift. They just got off work and they came in. They think they're going to be rich. They're talking about being rich, but they touch this goo that they found. They think it's oil, but it's making them go crazy. So the infection starts, and so does the mayhem. As the film progresses, I think there's a lot of bad dialogue in here, but very good gore. Some real gross out shit too. One scene in particular with one of the strippers named Baby. Really nasty stuff. It's funny though. It's very much a contained film. It takes place pretty much entirely inside the club, which is almost kind of silly considering you kind of get shots early on in the film to see how easy it is to kind of get out of the club. Yet it seems like they're stuck in like a cave almost, even though they could pretty much walk out multiple exits. You know, if I had to compare this to another film, I would say it has that feel of like Feast.
I knew you were going to say Feast. Wow.
It does have that feel. It's
amazing.
Feast I like a lot more, but it has that feel. So if you're a fan of those films, I think you'll be a fan of this one. It seems silly at times, and you know, it's goofy. There's definitely comedy to it. So it's really more of like a zombie comedy almost, or an infection comedy, because they're not really zombies. Best part of the film is Blue Jean herself. She gives, as far as I'm concerned, the best performance. Yeah, I mean, not really much to say. I don't really want to give much away. It's got great gore, good kills,
good production value,
some interesting, decent production value, good twists, some funny scenes. You get an end scene after the credits where you find out how the bar got its name called Titty Balls, which is a pretty funny scene. Blue Jean's very big into baseball. I'll just say that. And overall, I enjoyed it a lot. I know a lot of people are coming in very high on this. It's a fun film. I'm not coming in as high as other people, but it's a solid 6.5 for me. 6.5, I'll give it.
Does Peeler's work in its way into the gore? Is it like a... No?
Not
It's
really.
Just, okay.
Not really. More like sunken, hollowed black eyes, oozing goo, and then just some really cool, violent, bloody deaths. But nothing in terms of peeling.
Okay, I'm going to check it out.
Definitely worth checking out. I think you guys will enjoy it. I really do.
Too goofy?
Some of the dialogue was a little cringy, but it's one of the twists was like, you're like, what? How can that be even possible? But honestly, this is not the type of film that I nitpick the way I want to nitpick a film like Devil's Candy, which is why we're revisiting it again tonight.
Okay, right on.
This is just the type of film I pop in and enjoy, and I would watch it again. 6.5.
Cool. All right.
Well, I'm pleased to talk about this movie. It's The Void.
I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a return to 80s style monster movie. That's how I felt like about it. It kind of felt to me like Splinter meets From Beyond, or I guess the better comparison would be The Thing meets From Beyond. And what I mean by that, it's kind of, as you were just talking about, it's a contained movie in a sense as well. So, and then the From Beyond part plays into it, and it felt like From Beyond a lot of times with some of the characters and where it goes. So,
Hellraiser. Hellraiser 1 and 2 was
a bit of Hellraiser in there too. So,
holy crap!
Yeah,
you guys are dropping some big titles here.
So this
it's not as good as those.
Just James' character. We open on this James character running from a farmhouse, and he escapes into his woods. There's a woman running after him. She gets shot down, dead. We don't know what the hell's going on. We cut to a cop, Deputy Daniel Carter, and the James guy. Pardon?
Deputy Dog.
Yeah, Deputy Dog. So the James character from the beginning crawls out of the woods right in front of him, and he takes him to the hospital. The hospital is where we spend most of the movie. There's a set cast there, like a doctor. The deputy's sort of estranged, or his ex-wife or whatever. They're on a break or whatever because of something that happened with a baby, and their relationship couldn't get by it. And an intern and a grandfather and a pregnant woman, they're all in this hospital right there. Soon the hospital gets surrounded by these cloaked figures in white, and literally all hell breaks loose.
The Klan?
Yes.
They do look like Klansmen with triangles on their heads.
The gore and monster effects in this movie, in my opinion, were amazing. Just phenomenal. The acting was all right. I mean, there's some better acting. There's some just passable acting. The script is either going to win the viewer over, or it's going to create a void. I'm just sorry. Okay, so there's some explanation given to the going-ons, but if you really want to know what's happening, you're probably going to be disappointed. And that's really what it boils down to. Whether or not it gives you enough story or exposition. Personally, I was totally fine with it. Or I guess more accurately, I was 90% fine with it because I'm giving the movie a 9 out of 10.
Whoa!
I haven't felt this unsettled watching a movie in a long time. I did Save for the Witch, like that sense of dread in February last year. There's a sense of dread just in a different way permeating this whole movie, I think. I just felt it the whole time through. And the capper is it's also Canadian.
Let the listeners be warned that Christian also gave therapy an 8.5.
No. Hold up. Christian is what he's saying is what everybody's saying. Everybody is blowing this movie. Everybody is blowing this movie. So don't. Christian's he's doing what everybody else is doing. So
yes, but he also gave.
Can I add one other capper? So everybody was blowing the mind's eye, or not everybody, but a lot of people were like the mind's eye, because it kind of was a throwback, and this is kind of a throwback in the same way. This is more successful as a movie, in my opinion. The Mind's Eye had great gore, but it really didn't feel like it did anything else. I know I might be in the minority there. The story seemed weak to me. Just hadn't been there, done
Lauren?
that.
Christian doesn't like you.
No, I didn't say that at all. But this one was definitely more unsettling. Just that feeling the whole way through, and I loved it. Sorry,
I'll tell you something. No, don't be sorry.
For cutting you off.
A lot of people are loving this. I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I just thought, okay, let me do the positives. There was great practical effects. All practical effects, great gore, some really fucking incredible scenes. Shit fucking popping out of people's eyes, tentacles, shit. Like you said, The Thing. There's elements of The Thing. There's elements of fucking From Beyond, a Reanimator. Hellraiser 1 and 2, big time. That one scene was exactly the same thing that happened. The engineer in Hellraiser chasing her through the wall in a hospital, and then she jumps out. Same exact thing. Yeah. When you get to the end of the movie, the guy 100% looks like Skinless Frank from part 1. It's like uncanny.
Oh, he looks better than that.
There are so many things happening. There are so many things going on in this movie.
What an ass.
That are things that we've seen before, and I enjoyed it. By the time I got to the third act, I wasn't invested anymore, and I didn't understand the setup. Like the first act was great, amazing setup. When they got to this hospital, for once, I'll give this thing props. For once, they have a hospital that's abandoned with good reason. Usually in movies, horror movies, they're in a hospital and there's nobody there. Halloween 2, different movies. There's nobody there, and you're like, why the hell is this hospital so empty? This hospital was empty for a reason. They're moving. The hospital's being shut down. They're going to a new one. So that it's a skeleton crew. There's not many people there, and there only happens to be a few people. Anyway, they
get
to the
that skeleton crew in, didn't you?
Yeah, that's me.
You're not on that show anymore.
They had to get them to this hospital. Now, it sure as hell was very convenient that somebody that's at that hospital happened to be one of the masterminds behind everything going on. I thought that was a little bit too convenient. Okay, I can overlook that. That's fine. Everything going on.
Don't get all high pitched.
These people just happen to go there, though.
I know, but that's the whole. I mean, it all builds to that. Yeah, I mean, you're either in or you're out. But I mean, I loved it. Yeah,
you're in or you what?
So happened to be. You know what I mean? That when this reveal happens later, that they happen to be there, and this person happened to be involved, and it just. I don't know, a little bit contrived, I thought. But whatever. That's a slight knock. Everything at the beginning with the white hooded figures and shit was brilliant. I loved it, that whole idea behind it. But then it ends up that you don't even need those people. This movie turns into freaking, and I don't want to give it away, but I'll just compare it to something. It turns into like, instead of a cult type thing, it turns into a mad scientist. And I don't even understand by the time you get to the end why you even need those other people. Why they even need it?
I know. I hear what you're saying. You know, there's a lot of people that have been questioned. Like, there's a lot of that, and people have been saying that. And I don't have an issue with it. I know where you're going with it, but it didn't bother me because I didn't feel like they're totally unnecessary. But I could see where you're coming from.
Here's what it is: you and everybody else are blown away, and with good reason, by the practical effects, but more so by the member berries. This is all about those fucking member berries. Everything you see in this movie is freaking something you've seen before, and they're making you think about that movie, and they're appreciating, like I said, you know, remember the Thing? Remember tentacles? You know, there's all these things going on. Freaking, remember Dr. West? Just all these things from all these different freaking horror movies that we love are thrown into this movie, and I think people are seeing that. And that's taking over, and I think because of that, they're thinking that it's better than it is. Anyway, I'm just gonna give my score 7.5 out of 10. Good movie. I'm just not blowing it the way most people are.
Yeah. And was that my personality personified, or is that my thought process personified? Tentacles. I what you're just.
I tell you that's the member berries. You're thinking about the great.
What the hell is a member berry?
Remember Frank? Remember the Ghoulie Muppet?
You don't remember that?
I think you just created a word.
It's South Park. In South Park, they're doing all this shit where
Oh, okay.
they make fun of modern movies, like how they brought back Star Wars, how they bring everything back at the show. Everything you go and see is fucking stuff. It's all stuff. Nothing's original, and it's all they prey on your memories of good things, and they make you think things are better than they are. You know, like this movie, all kinds of confusion, crazy shit. It's like that movie Inception. And South Park made fun of that movie too. It's funny because they say just because something's confusing and it's a whole bunch of shit thrown in doesn't mean that it's good. Anyway, I'm not dissing it. I give the movie a 7.5, but I think that it's making a lot of people's top 10s. I don't think it's gonna make mine unless the second view does something. But by the time I got to the third act and we got in the basement, and there's that triangle thing and it turns into From Beyond. It just didn't seem like it fit to me. I thought the movie was going somewhere else with the white hooded people, and I thought they had a great thing going for 2 acts, and then I just didn't care at the end. But
2
whatever.
movies for you to watch for next show, BO.
Yeah, seriously. And
Yeah,
this doesn't sound like the new positive Dave Zed.
I'm trying.
It was negative Dave Z, positive Dave Z. That's what
okay.
Okay.
Here's one more from me. Again, I'm gonna do the best I can to remember.
Oh yeah, he does get another one. I was about to get mad at him, but I realized he had another one.
Oh, he ended up doing a Stephen Carpenter review of your film.
Well, here's something I recommend. It's called Johnny Frank Garrett's Last Word.
Oh, yeah, I've heard good things about this.
This is a good movie. There's a nun that's killed in the beginning, and there's a trial for it, and there's one juror that's not convinced, and by all means, he shouldn't be convinced. There's a couple strange circumstances, but everybody in this small town wants to freaking nail somebody to, somebody murdered a nun. They want to put somebody away from it for it. So this guy, he insists, he's innocent. The juror ends up conceding and buying into what the other jurors say. He goes along with them, and he reluctantly does. So this guy gets sentenced. He ends up getting a lethal injection, killed. Doesn't want to see a priest or anything. And by the time he gets there, his last words are, "I'm innocent, and I got a surprise coming to you." So he's threatening the jurors and the people watching him and everything else because he's proclaiming his innocence and I'm coming back for you. This is bullshit, So 10 years later, the jurors start getting knocked off. And I don't want to say too much. It's a good story. It's nothing that we've never seen before. The execution is good. They built some suspense. The editing and the cinematography and the score are fucking great. It's just the way this movie's presented, the colors, everything about it. The production values really spoke to me. I really enjoyed the movie. Again, I'm not going to say too much. I have a lot more notes, but I think you get the gist of it. It's just, this guy becomes the main character, the one juror that was opposed, and it begins surrounding him and his family. There's a real creepy video in a hotel when he's there. That's cool. That's memorable. There's an interesting twist about clearing a name and why this guy ended up going away. But the bottom line is there's supernatural shit going on here, and these people are being knocked off. And they have strings in the freaking I'm always a sucker for string scores. Like The Exorcist. String instruments, shit like that. I'm always a sucker when it's done right. They do it in Insidious, they do it in Exorcist, and not enough movies, but that.
You like Silly String?
I love Silly String. Yeah, I wish I had something.
He's a sucker for string, man.
It's true. I love string, but it's good. There's some body horror stuff.
I love
There's some body horror stuff going on towards the end involving somebody. At one point, I thought that something was going to happen, and it would have been an amazing ending, an unconventional ending. But I'm like, are they really going to go this way? And I thought for a second, please do it. Please do it. They didn't. They still ended up with a good FU ending anyway, so it worked out. But good movie. Another one that I give a 7.5. So
I got to admit, even though I'm kind of all over the place with the grades you guys are giving these last 3 movies you talked about, I'm intrigued to see all 3. They've been on my list. I just, like I said, I haven't really picked up my pace yet, but...
You will.
I'm sorry, you broke up for a sec, but this one sounds like it's right up my alley.
I think you really like it. There's a good mystery going on here. We're trying to figure out who did the killing and everything else, and They're uncovering, dirty secrets of the town and shit like that. It's a damn good movie. I really like it.
It's called Johnny Be Good.
It's called Johnny Frank Garrett's Last Word.
Just
Johnny
rolls right
Gators.
off the tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely check it out. Definitely check this one out.
Yeah.
Good
Cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, my last film is a Shudder exclusive, and it's a... What kind of film is this? I don't know.
Talking about
But
Revenge?
it's called Dearest Sister.
Oh. I didn't
It's
know
some sort
about
of like Asian film.
this. It's a 17?
Yeah, it's on
Shit.
Shudder. It's about a village girl who travels to the Lao capital, Vientiane, to care for her rich cousin who is starting to lose her sight and gain the ability to communicate with the dead. Now, obviously, she's not sharing any of that information with anyone. So Knock, who plays the village girl, she's motivated by money and nice things because she comes from a very poor village, and she's immediately drawn into this like material world in which her cousin lives because her cousin brings her in, like hires her as help. Her cousin and her cousin's husband are wealthy. They live in the capital. They have really nice stuff, and she's just like drawn into this world. When she notices that her cousin is having these visions of the dead and that she goes into like these almost seizure-like trances, she notices that Anna, who is the cousin, is repeating numbers. She's just, after she has these like attacks, she's just laying there repeating numbers. And Knock decides that she's going to play these numbers as lottery numbers. And it turns out they are lottery numbers, and they start winning. So now Knock becomes torn between actually caring for her cousin or causing her more anxiety so that she'll have another spell and give more numbers. The problem with this film is everybody feels like an antagonist. Nobody is so bad to start off, but nobody's really so good. So you never really kind of invested in one person, cheering for one person over another. They do throw in this housekeeper and groundskeeper, this husband and wife duo that are just like really despicable people. Just, I think, to make you feel that Knock and her cousin Anna aren't as bad, but they're really not the best of people either. Anna's husband, he's a shady businessman. He's clearly working around the law. He's trying his best to provide for Anna. He's thinking about moving her back to Europe because he's originally from Europe to get better care. But Knock obviously wants to keep her here and continue to get money off of this. It's never really explained why it's lottery numbers that the dead are giving her.
Right.
But the story's still intriguing. It doesn't really go into too much into why she's losing her sight. I think she has just some sort of degenerative disease. But I found it kind of silly that she gains this ability to communicate with the dead, and why that ability in particular would make her or cause her to speak out winning lottery numbers. The idea of seeing the dead, it's done really well. It's not like you're just seeing ghosts. You're almost seeing like from her point of view, because her sight is fading, so she's seeing almost like shapes. She could sort of make it out, but it's not like bad ghostly CGI that's in your face. So it keeps it from becoming one of those bad ghost films and remains more of a mystery because she's seeing things that obviously haven't happened. There's one scene in particular where she has this vision of her mother dying, and then she calls her mother, but her mother's fine. And then it turns out something happens to her later on. So, it's kind of cool. There's a couple of visions where you're like, oh, I want to see how that plays out. That's enough to keep you focused on the relationship between these two.
Is it long? Is it a long movie?
It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay. Well, most Asian movies are.
Yeah, it runs a little less. It's probably like an hour and 35, actual running time. Again, the visions, I with these types of films, I always want deeper meanings. There's so many like dead souls shown throughout this film, but you never really get an idea of why. It could have been way more developed there. Some of the visions are very effective and others just seem to lead nowhere. Like I said, there's another vision in particular that she has about her cousin that is key to how the story plays out in the final act and actually in the final scene, which was really, really well done. I thought it was really cool. Really saved it because I was loving it at the beginning. And then sort of in the middle, in the second act, and even in the beginning of the third act, it was starting to get a little silly and ridiculous. And then it picked up in the last 10 minutes as far as I'm concerned. None of it felt forced, and it was well done. You just really weren't quite sure what you were watching at times. Other than that, it's actually a really well-made film. These Asian films happen to be really good films. They really are. They just really know how to make a good film. I don't know if I'm missing some of the stuff that might be culturally significant to this region of the world. There could be stuff there. I didn't really look into it that much. I just took it at face value. And, I quite enjoyed it. I could nitpick it. I wanted to love it because I had heard one person post about it and say it was his favorite film of this year so far. And it was somebody from our group, I think, or from one of the groups who never usually gives, like, great positive reviews. Like, it takes a lot for him to like. So when I saw he posted this as, like, his favorite film of the year so far, I was intrigued. And I could see people loving it. I'm not loving it. I'm not hating it. I'm high on it, but not that high. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Right now. It's on Shudder?
Yeah, it's on Shudder.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's a 2017.
Speaking of not loving and not hating, we go on. I watched it. Decent production value, decent acting throughout. The main guy kind of irked me a little bit, but I got over it. It just starts off so promising, and I love the idea behind it. And I love how the premise and how he wants to go out and how his mom sort of is protective of him and how that one first sham happens with the doctor or whoever he goes to see and how that plays out. I thought that was just great. But then I really find that I just lost interest. I just got disconnected. And by the end, I really didn't care. So although it's not a badly made movie by any means, I just didn't love it. I guess, Brandon, you hyped it up so much for me. I wanted to love it, and I feel like I just like a 6.5 out of 10.
Wow, even lower than Dave. Yeah,
I gave it a 7. Yeah,
I gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, and it could be a 7, and I might check it out again. But I just was like, you know what? It was so promising, and it just fell off for me.
Well, based on your guys' review, I'm the one who really should be checking it out again to make sure I saw what I really saw.
Some other people gave it some high ranks that I've heard recently, so I don't think you were the only one. I think a few other people have. So
interesting.
There you go. I saw Prevenge, by the way. I did watch that this past week.
Nice. And what did you think?
Didn't like it quite as much as you, but I give it an 8 out of 10. I think you gave it 8.5. I think you said.
Yeah. Though that's still good. That's great.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. I think the only thing wrong with it was I had trouble understanding some of the characters, and there were no subtitles, so that's on me.
Yeah, the British
one character especially, the one guy in the beginning, the guy that took her, and I couldn't understand why he didn't know she was pregnant. He was like, "Oh, I love fat birds." Like he just thought she was fat. I thought that was kind of silly, but whatever.
How about when he says something about Olivia Newton-John and he says to her, "You look more like Elton John."
That's fucking funny.
I laughed out loud, but I heard it. She mentioned something about Olivia Newton-John. He says, "You look more like Elton John."
That's fucking funny.
I also gave that an 8.
Yeah, it was good. I don't understand how she got away with everything. Like when she went to that board meeting and killed that girl. That
was a good kill, though.
You would totally get caught. Like you couldn't get away with doing this stuff. So just because of some of the nonsensical stuff there, I couldn't rate it too high, and I wasn't really 100% on board with the plot, and that might have been on me until closer to the end. I didn't realize, and I'm still not 100% sure, if everybody she was killing were part of that climbing expedition. And it just kind of occurred to me towards the end when she saw that boxer girl, where she looked like she would be someone that would be into that climbing. So I'm like, is this something we're supposed to know as a viewer, or we're supposed to figure out on our own, or am I just concocting something? So just because I had a few question marks, like I said, I enjoyed it, but 8 out of 10 is not a bad grade. I just, wasn't over the moon, but I.
Oh, well, that's still great.
Should
be over the moon at 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's good. And I saw Kong Skull Island, and I enjoyed it. And it's another movie I give an 8 out of 10. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I was also pretty impressed when I saw Jurassic World, and I haven't thought to watch that one again. So those movies, like me, pretty much seem to be a one and done, no matter how much I mean, if it was like a 10 out of 10, yeah, I want to watch it again. But those kind of movies, I can appreciate them. And like Skull Island was fun and stuff like that. Good movie. I can't say anything bad about it. It's just, I don't know. They're just like junk food for the brain. You know what I mean? It's like that's the way I feel about even the best action movie or the best superhero movie. I enjoy them. They're good to watch once, and it's just like, well, okay, good movie. You know what I mean? And it's not bad to say something's 8 out of 10. That's damn good. I enjoyed Kong. I just don't know if I will want to watch it again. It came and went.
Hell, I give some of these superhero movies 9 out of 10s, and I haven't watched them more than once. They're long films too.
That's true. Yeah, Kong was 2 hours. I mean, that Cannibal Holocaust thing was cool. Did you notice that? Did anybody else see that?
I didn't see Kong.
Okay, well, there's something that happens in Kong. As soon as you'll see it, you'll know it's a nod to Cannibal Holocaust of all things, all movies to be. You know what I mean? Come on, Cannibal Holocaust, that's the last thing you'd think you'd see in a Hollywood freaking blockbuster film, but there's an obvious nod to it, so yeah.
Well, then I'm blowing my last movie, so I don't have to wait another 2 weeks to talk about it. I'll be very quick. It was Here Alone.
Oh, I didn't see that yet. I want to see it.
Yeah, and ultimately opens with the title card, Here Alone. We cut to a woman in camouflage in all mud. She's holding food in the trunk of a car, washes the mud off for the lake. We start getting flashbacks, so you kind of see the lead up to what happened. Ultimately, it's an affected movie. Just when you feel like these have been done to death, there's always some movie that comes along that I feel like does something right to just keep some energy alive in this sort of subgenre of infected, zombie, whatever. So this is an infected. I'm trying to do this really quickly. Lots of flashbacks, leading up to this. She learns some survival techniques from her husband. She eventually comes across a man and his daughter. He's ill but not infected. Stay at her camp until he gets better, and then the movie follows their progression and their lives for the rest of the movie. It is more of a drama in the second half of the movie for sure.
A what?
But a drama. Sorry, drama. This leads to drama. This leads to a tense ending, though, and a very unconventional payoff. Well acted, well presented. Great, like I said, like she's great. The main actress is great. I will just say that there's one tense scene at the 20-minute mark that you barely see anything. It's all about the sound design, and you're on the edge of your seat. Or I was anyway. Wow. I give it an 8 out of 10. But I just wanted people to be aware this is not straight ahead horror. This is horror with heavy drama as well.
And there's heavy what?
Drama. I hate how it's either or. It's like tomato, you fucking freak.
People say that, but I don't know anybody that says tomato.
I don't know that anybody says drama.
I do. My daughter calls me out on it all the time.
So it's not a Canadian thing. Okay.
No, maybe it is.
What's it called? If she meets up with 2 other people, shouldn't it be called Here with 2 Other People?
Maybe you should watch the movie before you start fucking cracking wise.
Cracking wise. I love that. That's hilarious.
Cracking wise.
Cracking wise.
Cracking wise. Dig it.
Well played.
All right.
Well
I think that's it, huh?
That's it. I snuck my last one in too. You threw Kong Island in, I threw this one in.
Great. You guys did 15 round robin reviews, and I did 2.
Yeah, and the audience thanks us.
Word.
And you.
All right. Well, what do we got? We got another movie to do. Damn it.
The Prowler, 1981, directed by Joseph Zito. That's Frank's brother.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. An unknown killer clad in World War II U.S. Army fatigues stalks a small New Jersey town bent on reliving a 35-year-old double murder by focusing on a group of college kids holding an annual spring dance.
Here we go.
The Prowler.
1-star review. Here we go. Verified purchase from PR Guy. Low budget bomb. Nothing of substance here. I can't believe how many minutes were wasted walking through houses, dorms, and backyards looking for a prowler. A total waste of time. Horrendous acting, embarrassing special effects. Wow.
What? Fuck this guy.
Okay. Right. Some of the worst rock music I've ever heard, and nothing to get scared about. I laughed through most of the film. The opening newsreel about guys getting Dear John letters was the reason I gave it a single star. It went downhill from there.
I did like
shit.
that opening. I did
It's
like
classy.
that.
The opening's
Yeah.
great,
Classy
man.
opening.
Yeah.
It was a classy
Yeah.
opening. I gotta admit, when I was a kid, I thought this movie was boring. I thought I didn't give it much of a chance. I thought there were some good kills, and I thought the movie was boring. And it's grown on me over the years.
Yeah,
Huge.
It gets better and better
Yeah.
as you watch it more and more, as far as I'm concerned.
You know what? For the past, the last time I watched it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I've always owned it in one way, shape, or form. I had the Blue, I had the DVD, so I've always liked it. But the last time I watched it, it was the most grating on me. And what I've been saying, and I probably mentioned it on the show, that there's a 20-minute sequence where they're walking around a house going, Major Chatham?
Just like
Major
yeah,
Chatham?
just like the one-star review said. It's true.
Brings the
There is a
film
lot of walking,
down.
but he kind of lost all credibility when he said shitty special effects.
Oh, yeah. Idiot.
After the
These
first
are-
40 minutes, the first 40 minutes are great, 35, 40 minutes. Then it takes that 20-minute chunk, and then it kind of bogs down. This is what I'm talking about, that second act. It bogs it down a little bit, but you get a couple kills to help break that up, and then you go into the last act, which is pretty fast-paced. When they go
Yes,
from the
the
graveyard
thing
to
is-
the house. And yeah, okay. What's the thing?
This is it.
You get some great kills.
Here's the thing. We do have great kills. They are the highlight of the Savini. This is his show. He's a fucking rock star for all these movies.
Yeah.
But this movie, from where I sit, is his best work. There's no, as far as slashers are concerned, I don't think there's even a question. Matter of fact, this may be one of the best slashers ever as far as makeup effects, period. That's how, and I look at this movie, and my rating is not going to reflect what I'm about to say. But I do look at this movie ultimately as a missed opportunity, because this movie could have gone down because of the kills alone. If you could have taken those 3 sequences, there's 3 10-minute sequences of walking around. There really is. If you could have replaced that with the camaraderie we get in a movie like The Burning, or even fucking Slumber Party Massacre, just some cracking wise going on, some, just kids doing their shit. There's none of that. The only investment we get in this movie is the fucking deputy and this girl. Constantly. Those are the only 2 people we get to know. We see her other friends in the dorm. We see them for a few minutes fooling around with their guys, but we don't get any dialogue. We don't get to have any fun with these characters at all. Instead, it's all serious and walking around where there should have been. If you would have had characters in this movie from like Sleepaway Camp or or The Burning, this movie could be a 10 out of 10. That's how
I
good these
agree
kills
with
are.
you. That's well said. A little bit of goofiness mixed in here would have been good.
Instead of the walking around, because the production values are top notch in this.
They
film.
are.
This is like classy. It's like a step above. Like in the beginning with the Dear John letter, and then it becomes a period piece. Like if you're just flipping channels and you come across that, you would think it was a movie made about 1945, a regular period piece, not a slasher.
When they show you the house, it's a very classy shot, well framed. It's very. And Joseph Zito said that he didn't even know what the hell he was doing. They were given the freedom to kind of just experiment and do it. He did well. I just agree. It gets bogged down a little bit with all the walking around in dark places. However, this time it clicked along a lot faster because it's not a long movie. It's paced. It's just paced poorly, but the kills make it. That first pitchfork kill is beautiful. The second pitchfork kill is okay. The bayonet through the head is classic.
Awesome.
Classic. And the pool scene is great too. And then you get another exploding head, so to speak.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
It fades to black too quickly, but I think that's because.
You know why?
Tell me why.
You know what happened? Only half of the fucking head blew off. It ended up being a little goof, so they had to cut away.
I figured as much.
It was a half head explosion where it should have been a full. Straight up. Yeah, that's what should have happened.
But this was probably my favorite watch of the movie because I've watched it. Like I said, we were going to do it for TGIF 13, and Vince and I both agreed to go, this is just too slow, man. We're going to be just like I said, but that's what we want. We want something that we could goof around with. He goes, but it's just not even funny. There's nothing like it's played so straight. But you know what? It's definitely classy. There's something here. I enjoyed it. I think the most out of this watch.
Yeah.
And I watched
you
it 3 times.
mean this was your favorite view of it, or
Yes.
you mean your favorite?
Sorry, I worded it so horribly there, but that's
No,
exactly what I meant.
I
Yeah.
wasn't being a dick. I wasn't really trying to be a dick. There was actually
No, I know. For once, I caught that. You're actually seeing legit.
Yeah, there was actually like some nice moments in here, even towards the end. You know, with Pam when Otto comes in, like that moment she has with Otto is really nice.
It went on for too long, though.
No, I thought it was really nice because everybody probably suspected him because he's sort of like he's like the special guy in town, and Pat's yelling at him all, at the beginning of the film. What are you still doing out here?
There was like 3 red herrings in this movie. That's something I liked about it, though. There were red
I would have
herrings
liked
there.
to have found out what ultimately the Prowler did with Major Chatham.
What he did with him?
Yeah.
I don't know. Major Chatham is full of questions. Full of questions. In the beginning, they say that every year he opposed this dance, but this year, did they say he couldn't talk, so he couldn't oppose it? Is that what they said?
He had a stroke.
So why couldn't he just write it down? No?
Maybe he lost the use of both his hands.
Okay.
And why did they?
Now he's watching the girl. Remember? He's watching oh, she's hot too. I love her. What's her name? Give me a second. Lisa? Is that her name? Yeah. Lisa flashes him. Right? Remember that scene? I love that chick. Anyway.
The pool girl.
Yes, the pool. I love her, Lisa.
Yeah.
So anyway, she flashes Major Chatham. He's across the street. Yet, how come later on they have to drive to get to that place? If he was close enough that an old man can see a girl flashing out the window, why the hell did freaking Pam and what's his name?
The deputy?
Yeah. Have to drive over there. It should have been fucking...
That's a Joseph Zito special. It's the same reason why they have to walk 20 minutes to get to the swimming hole in Friday the 13th Part 4, yet they walk right out to it later on.
That's true.
That's a good point. And Major Chatham does have use of his arm because he grabs Pam.
He sure as fuck does. He holds her there.
Yeah, he's got a good grip on her, actually.
In a really weird scene.
But he's trying to warn her, but the fact that he had a stroke is so frustrating because it's like, Pam, just fucking stay with him. He's trying to tell you something.
What's with the couple that go down and instantly you know they're going to get killed, and yet they never do? They go down to fool around and make out and fuck.
And then the old guy's watching them.
Yeah. I was like, that's a perfect opportunity for a couple more kills. And they never do anything with it. I was like, what? Even after the red herring's gone, it was like, they were just saying, oh, he's the killer. That was the only reason that scene's there, is because, oh my God, he was creepily watching them, and then he was gone. But then they didn't come back. They should have come back and killed those two.
Yeah.
They killed a woman instead. They killed that,
the woman that went to find the girl in the swimming pool.
Yeah, Miss Allison.
Another great kill. They all were. I mean,
this movie has the most consistent best kills.
Oh, amazing. And every kill, this is what a slasher movie should be when it comes to the kills. They let it linger longer. Every single kill, they let it linger longer. Keep it going. It's perfect. All these kills, instead of being a slit throat and a quick cutaway, you got to see them saw the fucking throat. You got to see he stabbed the guy in the head. You got to see blood coming down his head, on top of his eyes, and the penetration. Everything.
The first pitchfork kill, it's like it's running like a waterfall down her back.
Oh,
it's awesome.
And the pool kill's amazing.
Yeah, the pool kill's amazing. And the fact that they leave the blood in the pool, so when Miss Allison comes,
See, when I was a kid and younger, the slasher films, like, okay, you had the Friday the 13th, Halloweens, etc., etc. I'm talking about the ones that were off of that. I always thought it was like Happy Birthday to Me, Maniac, The Prowler. Like, those are the ones that, and My Bloody Valentine, those are the ones that used to freak me out because I guess the posters were up in the video stores and whatever. So if they weren't the Friday the 13th or whatever, those were the kind of the golden four. You know, Oh, and the burning. I left the burning out of that. And a lot of these, funny enough, I all kind of enjoyed the first time I watched them, but they've grown on me over the years as being the best. And the Prowler is probably the one that I always appreciated the gore for, but only most recently have I really appreciated the rest of the movie. The burning when I started appreciating that way back when I saw the uncut. Maniac was out of the gate, as I said earlier. Happy Birthday to Me we already talked about, and we said how great it is and whatever. This movie, there's some classiness going on here. I just wish it got a little adrenaline shot in a couple of those scenes.
Yep, for sure. We do get an amazing final chase sequence in the middle of the film, though. I prefer the original, that when Pam's in the house and you see the killer for the first time.
Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And where it comes down the stairs and she can't get out the doors and everything like that. Yeah.
That's final chase worthy shit. That goes on for 10 minutes and it's good. There's suspense. And okay, here you go. You don't like the soundtrack, you were going to say, Brandon, because you've already said you liked the first two.
I wasn't going to say I didn't like it. I was just going to say it was the least memorable to me.
I think this is much like a Friday the 13th or Alien, even in some of the way they played with the music. I thought it's really good. It's like a perfect, I don't want to say knockoff because that's insulting, but it's almost like a prototype of what you want a slasher to be if you're a fan of like the Friday the 13th movies and shit like that, without actually being that. But they also kind of put a spin on it with, they had certain scenes where there was just, it reminded me of the Alien soundtrack as well. But I think it's a very good soundtrack. That it's just, if you want a slasher movie, you just play this and not even watch the movie, and you'll say, hey, that's a good damn soundtrack. It fits right in like a puzzle piece. It's good shit, man.
Brendan's wrong.
It didn't stay with me, so I can't remember.
Doesn't have the authenticity of like, or it doesn't have the signature sound of like Rick Wakeman does with The Burning. That's exclusive to that film. In Maniac, I don't want to say it's exclusive to that film, but it's more memorable than this. This is more, I don't want to say stock, but it's, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't stand out ordinarily, but when you're critiquing, like we're doing for the podcast, I noticed it this time more than ever. I was like, that's a damn good soundtrack.
Yeah.
So maybe next time you'll get into it, but
I wasn't not into it. I just mentioned that two of them stood out to me more.
I can see that.
What were you going to say, Kristen?
Oh, I was just going to say there was a great getting ready sequence, which I love, for the killer, where he straps on his boots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever, and he sticks the bayonet in the sheath or whatever it is, and then he's ready to go. And, talk about, like, at least they gave the killer, we were talking about some of these other ones where there was no mask. I was talking about the Slumber Party Massacres or whatever. Here we go, mask killer, iconic. In a sense of like they gave him his own look, just like My Bloody Valentine gave them their own look, and that's why that movie stands out. And Cropsey could have been a little bit more iconic with the hat and the silhouette and whatever like that, but they got rid of it. I just love the fact that they gave him a uniform and costume or outfit.
They did give him that. That mask is really nothing to brag about, though. There's really nothing to it.
How does he breathe through that?
Well, its depth perception would be horrible.
I like everything about it except the mask. It's just like a hood pulled up, right? It's just like a fucking fancy thing over your face. I don't know.
It looks like he's just wearing a black
mask
sack on his head.
Yeah,
it's like
perfect.
It's like he put a hoodie on and then just pulled the string so it covers up your face like that.
That's gonna be the killer mask in our movie.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it as long as
hoodie head.
Yeah.
And then Hoodie Head 2, back to the hoodie. And then Hoodie in Space.
There we go.
Mark,
we got a trilogy.
We do. Deputy Mark. That's his name. Okay. I just looked at my notes and there it was. The POV fake out. Oh, hold on. Okay, let me say that first because I'll jump around. The POV fake out was interesting and it got me thinking. I wonder what the first slasher was. Had to be a slasher. Where it's a POV fake out. Where you see the POV, you think it's the killer, like you do in this movie with the boyfriend and the girl in the shower. And then it ends up being the boyfriend, not the killer. I wonder the first time they used the POV fake out was. Because it became a trope. We started seeing it all the time. You know?
That was in 1924's...
No, it had to be later on. It wasn't in the early days. It had to be after Black Christmas and Halloween.
I was wondering if it was Black Christmas, though. I was just trying to think if they had faked you with a POV of that.
If they have a POV fake out on Black Christmas, it's going up a half a point for me because it'll be the first. It will. I'll give it more props. I really will because I think that's cool shit.
Can you give a movie a 10.5?
No. No, we can give it an 11 if Lauren is here, but no 10.5.
Actors with their made up rules.
Yo, check it out. Check it out though. Here's one complaint about how long did the killer stay there in that room? Remember, he goes and he kills the fucking the couple in the shower.
Yeah, and then she goes to dance and comes back, and he's still there.
And he's still in there. Yes. What the hell was he doing?
I have no idea. I thought the same thing, and I thought it was a misstep on the fact that Pam isn't suspicious that she's been in the shower this whole time.
That women like to shower. I don't know.
That's a long shower.
Well, they're probably fucking. He probably figures that.
Oh, it's left on even until the end.
Yeah, even
it is totally.
It's not, I mean, it is literally the last scene when she finally like, all right, I'm gonna check because they've been showering for 2 days now.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny that happened? And then in Friday Part 4, also directed by Joe Zito, they have that. It ended up being thrown out, but they had a dream sequence with Mrs. Jarvis. Yeah, and it's so similar to the fake out thing we had at the end of this.
Well, she had the white out eyes too, like he did.
Yeah.
In the shower.
Yeah. Just occurred to me now.
Exorcist eyes.
I liked it. I like that. I liked it. It was a good scene. Effective.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I love her hiding in the room with all the white sheets covering everything, and he comes back in the other way.
That's cool. You know why everything was covered? Because there was an antique house. Because freaking everything in that house, they didn't want anyone to go in that house because the actual house itself was full of antiques. They didn't want anybody touching anything. So that one scene later, like the Friday Part 2 scene with the pitchfork and the rat with Ginny under the freaking bed.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Carbon copy, yeah. But same year.
I know.
It's like,
isn't that nuts? Only thing that nobody peed. That's the only difference. But during that scene, guy with the pitchfork,
in your own mouth.
He was trashing shit with his pitchfork, and those were actually antiques. Like he had to pay for those things. They had to pay for doing that. Like they were all bugged out about freaking being in there, and they only wanted to let one person in there, and it was Major Chatham, and I guess he was kind of like an established actor from the early days, so they trusted him to go in there, but they didn't want anyone else to go in there. And I guess he went up there, and when they were looking, he pretended like he was stroking himself just to fuck with the fucking people. Isn't that great? This old man. Yeah, I listened to the what do you call it? The commentary for this and The Burning. I didn't have the blue, like I said earlier, for Maniac, but
you did deep research here.
I did deep research for all of them. I watched them all 3 times. I freaking commentary features. I mean, I have them. Why not use them? If you're not going to use those special features for a podcast, when else are you going to use them? You know, we do what we can. What can I say? I don't know. Then that coffin. Remember they had to get that coffin to the empty grave when they go to Rosemary's grave.
Yeah.
That fucking coffin was the guy Joe Zito told the story. There was a girl on the set that got the coffin from a place in her neighborhood, which wasn't far from there. The place burned down. No, the place didn't burn down. The guy got arrested that ran it because he was into necrophilia. So his place got shut down. Oh. So he went to get this. Yeah. So she, for whatever reason, there were caskets there at this place still because he got arrested. And she went and they got it. And it turns out when they fucking brought it back that there was still somebody in the casket and there was fucking slime and shit on the bottom and all that stuff. And they had to open it up. They didn't.
That was semen.
Well, that's what I thought.
Maybe it was. The guy was.
That's what I was assuming. The way you told that story. This is creeping me out
Cream
more
pie.
than the movie did.
Oh, I'm making myself ill.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. How about that piece of shit employee? He reminds you of Eric Cartman. If Eric Cartman was to grow up in real life, he would be that hotel employee, that fat guy behind the counter. Yeah, I'll go get him.
Yeah, and he puts the phone down. Yeah, yes. It's a great scene though. Yeah.
It is a great scene. It's funny. It's funny as hell.
That's when the movie starts picking up again, in my opinion. And then it's just like a 20-minute because I was like, I'm going to be very critical of the second act at this time because I always felt it just died in the middle. I'm like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I was like, it's just this 20 minutes, and there's enough. I mean, you know, you come down on movies for always just taking place in one area. At least they're trying to move it around and they're trying to solve something. I mean, and get into the next scene. I think that there's a reasoning behind it. Yeah, I agree. There could have been some trimming, but.
Oh, they went to.
But you gotta remember, this movie only runs like 84 minutes. So you start trimming, you get down to the point where it's a short film.
And they went to Chatham's place 3 times. I mean, how many times are they going to go to that same place looking around? It just, again, I said it at the beginning. I
wish there had been more. I wish there had been a death or two at Chatham's house.
Yeah.
You know, some of the kids could have gotten out and be like, "Let's go to Chatham's house."
Right.
Something. Something else.
I agree.
Yeah. Again, I think Jason Lloyd mentioned on our page that this was one of his favorites. I think he said that. I could be wrong, but I think he said it was one of his favorites.
I know a couple people that think of the Prowler as one of their favorite slashers.
Oh, we have our poll, by the way. Well, I'll wait till we get to the end.
Tell you what, I was pleased with all 3 of these movies. I had a great time watching all of them.
They're great.
Same here.
That's why we picked them. Fucking Tom Savini, straight rock star.
Yeah. Dude. Like, if anybody needs a blueprint for how special effects should be done, just watch these 3 movies back to back and copy that.
Yep. Fuck CG. I mean, this is like, Savini said it, and I listened to him. He said it many times. He always says it. He goes, these are magic tricks. And he goes, the directors didn't understand all the time. You just got to let me do my thing. You don't understand that we're doing magic here. It's like I'm an illusionist. I have to find a way to make something look real that isn't. And he's really into his craft, you know, and shit.
Awesome
it's amazing. Stuff. Yeah, it is. It's amazing the things they do. It's too bad that, you know, we don't see it as much as we used to. But what are you going to do?
I'm going to rate first because I went last. I hope this is. I like this movie quite a bit. I've enjoyed it more than any time before this. Can't even talk anymore. It's late. 7.5 out of 10.
7.5.
Yeah, I have to think of my other ratings before I rate this, and you know, I have to go with 7.5 as well. Because I do like the burning a little bit more. I do think the effects in this film were better, but I enjoy the burning more.
All right. I can't believe I'm coming in the highest. It's 8 out of 10 for me. Again.
I was almost going to do it.
You're a half point higher. I was thinking about it, but no, you know what? I think if I rated this movie 5 years ago, it may have been more of a 6.5 or something like that.
I'm with you. Right.
And I think it's just seen it. I only watched this one. The last time was when we were checking to see if we were going to do it for the other show. And so it's been a couple of years. And now I'm glad, and I really appreciated watching it for this show. And 7.5 is great. And I think it could only go up.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough as we're getting closer to episode 50, finalizing these lists with having a lot of 7.5s, a lot of 8s, and a lot of 8.5s. You know, it's like, which one goes where? I mean, we know the big ones, but it's going to be like, I've given an 8.5, you know, given 8s to The Burning. I've given 8.5 or 8s to Happy Birthday to Me and April Fool's Day. Or they might have been 8.5, so I got to double check, but they were all in that same vicinity. So it's gonna be it's gonna be tough when the list comes. It'll be fun though. To really just think about it and be like, all right, which one do I choose over the other?
It's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. I have one question before we wrap this up. Why the hell did the guy unmask? Was it because he was hot or something? Or just, what do you guys think about that?
I think it was a Scooby-Doo ending. I think they needed to show his identity, and it was just, that's just
they almost made it. Yeah, they almost made it look like he couldn't breathe, but he'd been walking around hours in that. So like, why all of a sudden?
And why now? Just because they're having a dance, or did they not have the dance every year? No, they didn't have the.
They didn't have the dance for 35 years.
So it's like My Buddy Valentine.
He was the one that she broke up with him 35 years ago.
I know that. I know.
And she was at the dance with Roy. So the dance didn't happen. So 35 years later, the dance happened. He decided he's gonna start killing.
Poor Rosemary. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So they have these 3 movies. We put the vote out there on the page. Here are the results. We asked the listeners. We got a lot of hits here too. What are the top? These are the top 3 we're covering. What are your favorites? We have over 150 votes. And The Burning came in first, 75 votes. Wow. Followed by Maniac with 52 and The Prowler with 26. So, Burning, Maniac, Prowler. That's the listeners.
See, it's weird.
I can see that.
Yeah, I could see it too, and that's almost the order in which I want to rewatch these. You know what I mean?
Burning, Maniac, Prowler? I don't even know. I've watched them so many times this week. What do you guys think was the best effects? Prowler?
Prowler by far, yeah. Prowler, then Maniac, then The Burning.
And I think, other than that Slit Neck and Maniac, I think Maniac is the best effects, then The Prowler, then The Burning.
Wow.
I'm Maniac first.
You give the Maniac the highest. Wow,
I think
nice.
The Burning had the weakest effects of all.
Yeah. I think there's some good effects there, but
Yes, there
there's
is.
such crappy editing and whatnot that it's almost like they tried to hide Savini's effects by cutting away so quickly.
Yeah.
But there's some good stuff to be had in all three.
There's the one thing that bothers me in The Burning. Just one. And it's when Woodstock's freaking fingers get cut off. It's a foam hand, and you can tell it's a foam hand.
But you could tell there's like aluminum foil around the shears every time they show that shot. They're like,
Oh, when the blood drips?
and they look so fake, the
I
shears.
never thought about that. That never even occurred to me. See what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Interesting. So, these movies, what else? What do they have in common? There's two Zitos, Frank and Joe. There's two of the three movies have hookers in them. There's hookers in the beginning of Maniac and The Burning.
One of the three has an Otto.
An Otto?
Yeah, Otto was in The Prowler.
Otto. It's his name?
Otto. Yeah, he shoots the sheriff.
Oh, the guy. Jeez. Oh, by the way, if they ever remade this movie, don't tell me Sid Haig could totally play that part that one guy was playing. Didn't he remind you of Sid Haig? The one dude? Not Otto. The other guy that was getting mad at him and throw him out of the place?
Oh, yeah, and that was Pat from the beginning.
Whatever his name was, he totally
the guy
reminded me
who
of
was at
Sid
the
Haig.
dance in 35 years earlier. Yeah, he was abusive to poor Otto.
The guy with the beard, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
the shop owner.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And two movies with graveyards in it. There was a graveyard in Maniac and a graveyard in The Prowler. These are the notes I took.
Such similarities.
Yes, amazing, isn't it?
Practically the same movie.
Indeed. Okay, all right. So that is that. We got one more thing to take care of quickly, and then we get the hell out of here.
Now wait, I want to just interject really quick. Is it going to be quickly? Because I'm starting to
very
fade.
quick.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's.
I was
be
gonna
quick.
say we don't even have to do it tonight if you don't want to, but I literally have
Well,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little points written down. I want to read them, talk to you guys for like literally 5-10 minutes
Yeah,
tops.
let's do it.
Okay, and I have a note from somebody here that emailed me about it. I said I'd mentioned it on the show about
Okay,
the Devil's
cool.
Candy. So, but it won't be long. So.
All right, so
We can
why
go.
don't you lead us in then?
So, The Devil's Candy, everybody's been talking about it. We reviewed it last show. Brandon and I had some disagreements, even though we loved the film, I believe, pretty much equally. But
Yeah,
we were just, right?
you came in 9.5, and me and Christian came in at 9. So we were right there
Okay.
on the cusp of a Hall of Famer. That's why I wanted to revisit it and kind of come right back to it because there were a few things I just had to make sense of. And I'll start
Okay.
out by
Let's
saying
hear it.
you were right.
Yes! Dave's
He
on
did-
fire.
He did say them, not him. So my whole thought with God
Yeah.
out the window, them meaning the
The
children.
children, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I have come to the conclusion after multiple watches now that there definitely was some sort of evil presence at the house.
There you go. All right.
Ray and Jesse hearing the same voices still needs explanation.
Why? It makes sense that they'd be the same voices. It's in the same house.
No, because if the devil is talking to both of them, then why does Jesse have a gift for painting the future, and why does his gift help him defeat evil in the end? Is it because the children are also talking to him?
Yes.
So he's hearing the devil and the children talking to him, and Ray's only hearing the devil?
Correct. Because Ray wouldn't have any guilt because he's the one killing the children.
I stand. Okay, so Ray was chosen when he was young, and Jesse was chosen as an adult. Now,
Well, nobody's chosen. They happen to be in that house. That's all. The
no,
house chose
but there
them.
were 3 of them in the house, and when Ray was little, there were also 3 of them in the house because it was his parents and him.
Well, yeah,
So,
but
so I'm trying to make sense of things, and it makes sense for the devil to choose them because Ray is clearly, and I'm still going with that, he's schizophrenic. He is a schizophrenic man. He might believe he sees the devil. There might actually be evil there, but the whole scene at the end with him not seeing anything proves that there's no physical devil. There might be.
There doesn't have to
evil.
be a physical devil. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be. He's seeing it, but like I said last show, it's the devil. He can make you see anything he wants.
But I think the devil reached out to him because he's weaker of mind, and reached out to Jesse because of the greed in his heart, because he wanted to be rich, successful artist. And I thought to myself, well, if they reached out to Ray when he was a kid, why not Zoe? But I made peace with it because Zoe is such a strong character. She's got such a strong sense of right and wrong and integrity at such a young age. Zoe, the daughter.
Right.
Yeah. You know, he talks about the painting not being finished yet, and the children are talking to him, as well as the devil, like we said. Why does the devil's voice start when he tries to destroy the painting the first time? He almost destroys it the first time and then doesn't. And he starts hearing the devil's voice. It's almost like the devil's voice almost should have made him destroy the painting because it was the children telling him it's not finished yet.
Yeah, but he was going to make money off of it when it was finished. So the devil wants him to make money because that fits into the whole greed thing.
Is it that, or is it maybe that the painting is showing, you know, children being sacrificed, and it's sort of like a message to him, like, we want you to do our bidding?
Maybe.
Check
it out. Check it out.
I'm not even arguing them. I'm kind of...
No. It's funny you should say that because I have messages here from Kenneth from Kill the Cast because we were talking about it. And it's funny you should say that exact thing because that's what he says here. I also think that if he sold the painting of the kids to Belial, he was sealing the fate. And by destroying it, that was foreshadowing that Jesse would be the one to prevail in the end, despite bullet wounds, fire, or anything else.
He was sealing what? I'm sorry. Can you just repeat that?
I also think that if he sold the painting of the kids to Belial, he was sealing the fate. And by destroying it, that was foreshadowing that Jesse would be the one to prevail in the end.
Oh, he was sealing the kids' fate.
Yeah.
Because he was selling them to Belial. Belial obviously meaning the devil, and their souls are doomed forever, right. Versus ultimately how it ends.
So Kenneth weighed in, and he also said this.
I like that.
I'm listening right now.
Shout out to Kenneth.
I think that Jesse was constantly fighting inside, and God was showing him the suffering of the other kids and what would happen to his. The inverted cross was the first watch your ass moment.
Okay. So
Kenneth makes some good points there.
So it could be everything kind of speaking to him. Evil, good, the dead children. But the whole idea that they hear the same voice just still bothers me. I just can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I love Jesse's vision of the goat and
Well, hold up. Let me interrupt. If it would have been different voices, it would have foreshadowed the end, and you would have known it was someone different talking to him. So us as the viewer, we should see it as the same voice so we can all think it's all evil all the time. So that's just for the viewer.
So, but I think I made that point in the last show where it's almost like the fact that they're hearing the same voice doesn't even matter to them because it could just be we're hearing the same voice, but what they're hearing might be different.
Maybe, but I'm not even thinking. No, I'm just saying that it would have tipped their hat. It would have
tipped the viewer's hat.
That's what I'm saying. They don't want to do that. They want us to get swerved at the end. So if you hear a voice for tracksuit guy, and then you hear voice for fucking Jesse, then you'd be like, wow, these are two different entities. But if you're always hearing, then you're like, oh, okay, well, evil's speaking to both of them.
So you're saying they could have been hearing two different things, even though it was the same sound played for both.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I don't think you were saying that last week. I like.
No, I wasn't, but I didn't think about it that way.
Okay, no, I like this, and I like after the second attack of Zoe when they're reunited and stuff. That's when Jesse's finally able to destroy the painting, because I was wondering why he wasn't able to and why he was able to at one point, and he's finally able to because he's let go of this greed and desire to be a successful artist, and he's finally put family first. He knows what's important, and he's not going to let her down again.
Christian, what do you say?
I don't have much more to add to it. I know Brandon needed to get some things out that he thought he missed when we wrapped last time. And
well, I was
then
talking
you
a lot
rewatched.
about
Yeah.
I was talking a lot about God, and we were talking about the children, and we're talking about the devil, and there's so much, and I love the film so much that I'm between. I gave it a 9 last time, and I'm between that. It's never gonna go below a 9 because I love it that much. Even if I can't make sense of a few things, I still think it's that good of a movie. And one of my buddies actually. He's a little critical of movie. He likes horror movies. I watch a lot of these movies with him, but he said, well, maybe the fact that you don't know this is just lazy writing. And I said, no. I said, I can't buy that. I'll play devil's advocate and bring it up, but I can't buy that it's lazy writing given the talent level of this, writer director. And I don't buy it. There's enough substance there that there has to be answers. But the voices being the same, and it was just the only thing that was really bothering me. But I'm here. You're reading these things. You're saying certain things, and I'm making peace with the multiple explanations it could be, versus doesn't make sense at all. I don't need it.
Boards.
Yeah,
can do it here.
Yeah, you're right. This would have been a perfect time for an IMDb board, but
no question.
But yeah, that's all I got. I love the film. I
it's
really
great.
do.
Is your rating the same?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my rating the same for now.
All right.
Just to keep people in suspense to see where it ends up at the year's end show.
That's our cliffhanger.
Yeah,
that's the big
because
one.
it is teetering on the Hall of Fame at this point. It's a half a point off.
Yep.
And like I just said, it's not going down for me. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that Region 1 release.
Pretty much like every woman he's been with.
Yeah.
I come back from the dead for one last joke.
That's not a joke. That's a fact.
And I was about to ask you, are you going down for it, though? But he had a much better joke and beat me to it, so good thing.
Good thing.
See? I knew gold was coming out of Christian's mouth. That was a little bit...
Oh,
there it
how'd
is.
you get that swallow sound? Ew. You've
And
done
on
this
that note-
before.
And on that note, it's been a long night, a long show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Once again, next show is going to be another kind of big one. It's the 2000 show. Finally, we're going to have the 2007 The Year in Horror special with Watson. Mr. Watson's going to join us.
Dr. What?
Dr. What?
Doctor Who?
We're not 100% sure what we're covering yet. I think we agreed, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say it. But we're going to it's going to be like our 81 show. We're going to cover 2 movies from that year. We're going to do a list of our top 5s and whatever. Talk a little shit about that year and what a great year it was, because it was a great year. And I'm not going to blow my load now, but looking at some of the stuff we heard the other day, I'm like, wow. So anyway, that's next show. Guys, thank you again. Join the Facebook group. You know where we are. Polls galore, Facebook Live, weigh in. We got all kinds of good shit going on there. Follow us.
You had me at
Polls
Polls galore.
Yeah.
Holes and holes.
Well, thank you. I was just going to say that. We're on Twitter, Exploding Heads Pod at EH Horror Podcast. Exploding Heads Horror Podcast on Instagram. Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast on Horror Amino. Yes. Promote us. Next time, when this show drops, do us a favor. Please share it on Facebook to your friends. That's all. And 5 more written reviews, and we have a giveaway. So that's all the pimping we got.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Long show. I hope you guys appreciate it. We're doing the best to put on good shows. So having fun. That's what matters. So, all right. You guys got anything else before we get the hell out?
Goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.